This page is the front cover of Dreamcast Magazine, Volume 34, dated November 5, 1999. The cover heavily promotes the Dreamcast, with the large Dreamcast Magazine logo, and the headline, Weekly Sakura Wars 3 Urgent Announcement. And Sakura Project 2000 is? The main visual features prominent characters and game titles. Centrally featured is a character who seems to be from a game, flanked by two male characters, possibly representing different game genres. The top right section advertises an article about J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuro, also known as Sega internationally, highlighting strategies for beginners to advanced players. The left side of the cover lists several featured games in this issue. These include Cyber Troopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram, Choo Choo Rocket, Space Channel 5, Zombie Revenge, Lady 2 Rumble Boxing, Aero Dancing F, F1 World Grand Prix for Dreamcast, Berserk, Dokusei 2, Revive, Sosei, Street Fighter 2 On, Double Impact, and Sunrise Ayutan 3. The text highlights the arrival of sample versions of some of these titles at the editorial department, suggesting previews or early impressions are inside. The bottom right corner mentions Sakura Wars 3 announcement and Sakura Project 2000, indicating major coverage of these Sega franchises within the magazine. It also teases reader rankings and Dreamcast factory tours as part of the content. Small text also mentions Climax Landers and professional baseball team O Tsukuru, likely as additional articles inside. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game D2. The page uses a series of intriguing quotes to set a dark and mysterious tone for the game. Phrases like, "Welcome to the world of D2," and descriptions of roses in a white world create a poetic yet unsettling atmosphere. The quotes hint at themes of fighting for humanity, survival, potentially cannibalistic scenarios, divine punishment, experiments, and even transformation into monsters. The overall feeling is one of isolation, darkness, and a sense of being in a terrifying and unique universe. The advertisement uses these quotes to create intrigue and draw players into the strange world of D2. This page is a visual showcase for the upcoming Dreamcast game D2, scheduled to be released on December 23rd. The page uses a collage of screenshots from the game centered around an image of Earth, highlighting the game's epic scope. The Japanese text describes the game's themes as encompassing the will of the universe, the heart of the Earth, and the destiny of humanity, suggesting a grand narrative. The screenshots offer glimpses into the game's world, featuring various characters, some armed with guns, alongside environments ranging from futuristic interiors to what appear to be otherworldly locations and creature designs. The overall impression is of a visually striking and ambitious adventure title for the Dreamcast. This page is the contents page of the magazine and highlights what is featured in this issue. It mentions the game Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning?, which is teased as the main highlight with news from the press conference and information about Project Sakura 2000. Other featured games include J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuro, S.A. Katsuku, Cyber Troopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram, Choo Choo Rocket, Shenmue, Ready 2 Rumble Boxing, Space Channel 5, Aero Dancing F, F1 World Grand Prix for Dreamcast, Berserk, Dugu Suken, Discrimson 2, Mirante no Matsuri, and Zombie Revenge. There are also sections titled Drill Mages Nanani, Detective Team 9th Investigation, and Dreamcast Factory Tour Dreamcast, How Is It Made? This Dreamcast Magazine content listing highlights upcoming and existing games. The Dreamcast Hot Information section previews titles like a Mahjong game, Street Fighter 2, Double Impact, and SNK vs. Capcom. A Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide includes Climax Landers, Pro Yaku Team Wotsukuro, ESPIONAGENTS, Marionette Company, and Cool Borders Burn, alongside D2 and Sakigaki. Naomi I titles like Outrigger, Jumbo, Safari, and Toy Fighter. Yes. The Game Index provides an alphabetical list of various Dreamcast games, spanning genres from sports and fighting to RPGs, including popular titles like Shenmue, Choo Choo Rocket, and Space Channel 5. Yes. The image features characters from Shenmue and Outrigger. This page announces the Megalopolis 1999 game show event in Sendai, taking place on October 23rd and 24th. It will be held at the Miyagi Mayfair Plaza Sendai WAS 3F Exhibition Hall from 10 o'clock to 1700 each day. The event is described as a use-oriented event, bringing the Tokyo Game Show to the Tohoku region. Several game companies will be present, including Sega, Atlus, SNK, Capcom, Square, and Konami, with a total of 31 companies showcasing their games. The page lists a selection of Dreamcast games that will be available to play, including Burning Rangers, Godzilla Generations, Maximum Impact, Sunrise Ayuden, likely meaning Sunrise Heroes but officially unreleased, Space Channel 5, Choo Choo Rocket, Chukuki Kai-O The Battle of Europe, Super Heavy War Kikai-O, D no Shokutaku 2D2, Cyber Troopers Virtuon Oratorio Tangram, Columns 2, Puzzle Front, Berserk, Magical X, Marionette Company, Tsukyu Gensukyoku 3 Perpetual Blue and Ready. The event will also host game tournaments for Psychic Force 2012 and KOF 99, as well as cosplay contests. Merchandise from various companies like SNK, Konami, and Compile will be available for sale. Entry fee is 800 yen per day and free for elementary school children and younger. Contact information is provided for VERS TAND Events Office. This page features several news snippets and information related to the Dreamcast and gaming scene. One article announces that CSK, Sega, and other tech companies are forming a research group focused on area and home information technology. Another news piece apologizes for the delay of Shenmue, mentioning it was originally slated for a spring 2000 release, and offers a Shenmue strap as an apology gift for those who pre-ordered. There's a present giveaway for 2 people to win the soundtrack DNA and RNA from Cyber Troopers Virtuon Oratorio Tangram. Cyber Troopers Virtuon Oratorio Tangram. Konami and TOKYO FM are partnering to broadcast game information via FM radio, aiming to reach a wider audience even without internet access, focusing on game music and information. Finally, there's information about the opening of Pool Bar Rush at Yokohama Joyopolis, with Yuri Mari as the first store manager, and an event for the 3rd anniversary of Shinjuku Joyopolis, showcasing Virtuon SP as a playable game. This page provides updates on various entertainment events. A Biohazard/Set OID stage play, a comedic take on the Resident Evil series, is touring 7 cities. A national Morita's Strongest Reversey tournament for the Dreamcast game will be held in Tokyo, with a Hawaii trip as the grand prize. A concert report covers the DGI Share It First concert, featuring voice actresses from the franchise, which is expanding into various media. A present section offers a Bemani candy based on Konami's music games. A campaign promotes Idol Janshi Tsuchipai 2i, offering autograph prizes. Lastly, the WOWW drama Natural Girl Next, a youth action series, is set to air, featuring a large cast and theme song by Sakai Ayana. This page features several news items. Firstly, there's an announcement about a new idol group called Pigeon, born from the game Langrisser Millennium. Secondly, there's news about a lawsuit concerning the sale of used game software, where Osaka District Court has ordered retailers to stop selling used software. The page also highlights the perspective of the Association of Copyright for Computer Software, ACCS, and the Arts Organization regarding this lawsuit. In music news, there's an announcement of a new CD release called Beatmania ANISONGSMIX, featuring anime songs, part of the popular Beatmania game music series. Also featured are video releases related to popular manga from Weekly Shonen Jump, specifically anime adaptations of One Piece and Hunter x Hunter, with their ending theme songs being released by VAP. Finally, there are several CD releases advertised. Taking a Trip Down Memory Lane by Kyoko, Anu by Ringo Shina, the single Birds by Coil, and the album OK Ride On by Cobra. The Top 10 Dreamcast Software Sales Ranking showcases diverse genres. J-League Pro Soccer Club Creation, a football management sim by Sega, tops the list. Black/Matrix AD, a strategy RPG, and Seaman, a unique pet simulation, follow in second and third respectively. Atsumare Udby. Guru Guru Onsen, a hot springs management game, takes fourth, while Pro Baseball Team Creation, Wook, another Sega simulation, lands at fifth. Marionette Company, an adventure game, holds sixth, and Soul Calibur, a fighting game, Secures 7th. Time Stalkers, an RPG with replayability, is 8th, followed by Idol Mahjong Hosukyoku wo Tsukuchou, a Mahjong game. Dancing Blade Kateni Momotaru Tenshi, Tears of Eden Complete Edition, an adventure game, rounds out the top 10. Dreamcast Magazine's reader poll reveals the top 30 most anticipated games. Shenmue leads with 525 points, praised for its delayed release coverage and Yu Suzuki interview. Grandia 2 takes second place with 469 points, lauded for its story and 3D characters. Resident Evil Code Veronica secures third, capitalizing on the series' popularity. Ready to Rumble Boxing is the weekly pickup, highlighting its mega punch and comedic style. Choo Choo Rocket also appears in the list, ranking 20th, teasing familiar Sega characters. The rest of the list features titles like SNK vs. Style, SCAP Siam, Cyber Troopers Virtual On, Super Robot Tyson Alpha, and many more, providing release dates and developer/publisher information for each. This page features 2 game ranking charts. The first is the Reader's Choice Transplant Wish Title Ranking, showing games readers wish to see ported to the Dreamcast, with Dead or Alive 2 at number 1, followed by Machi, Shining Force series, and Knights. Other games in the top 10 include Fighting Vipers 2, Metal Gear Solid, Daytona USA 2, Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, and Ogre Battle 64. The second chart is the Video Game Income Ranking Top 15 for arcade games, listing titles based on income. Virtua Striker 2 Ver 2000 is at number 1, followed by Virtua Fighter 3 TB and Tekken Tag Tournament. Other titles listed include Cyber Troopers Virtual On Oratorio, Tangram, Ver.5.4, and The King of Fighters 99. The page also includes a preview of the arcade game Outrigger, a Sega title described as a communication action shooting game on the NAOMI arcade board. It highlights the new gameplay experience, focused on competitive play and strategy. There is also a small preview of Toy Fighter, a fighting game featuring unique characters and systems. Soccer Wars is celebrated in a box with a screenshot, mentioning Soccer Wars 3 and the continuation of the series, including Soccer Wars 1 and 2. Resident Evil 3 is also featured, discussing the possibility of a Dreamcast port and its 20% completion status at the time of writing, with screenshots depicting in-game action. This page is a Dreamcast and Sega Saturn release schedule, listing upcoming software and hardware releases. For Dreamcast software, the schedule covers releases from October 1999 to spring 2000 and beyond, including titles like Revive, Sosei, likely Revive, Resurrection, Sonic Adventure Limited Edition, Langrisser Millennium, Choo Choo Rocket, Space Channel 5, Godzilla Generations, Maximum Impact, and Ready to Rumble Boxing, Round 2. Some titles listed with TBD release dates are Shenmue Chapter 1, Yokosuka, in both standard and first edition versions, LOL Lack of Love, and Phantasy Star Online. Now, there are also hardware peripherals listed, like arcade sticks and twin sticks. For Sega Saturn, the schedule is much shorter, and lists Monster Maker Holly Garland Dragon and Real Sound 2 Door to the Wind's Regret as TBD releases within 1999. Dreamcast Magazine previews 3 upcoming Dreamcast games, using a 1 to 10 rating scale. REVIV, Resurrection, a trap-adventure game, 8.0. Tasks players with rescuing girls by solving puzzles and escaping traps. Zombie Revenge, an action game, 8.0. Offers arcade-style action, character customization, and versus modes. Langrisser Millennium, a simulation RPG, 8.0. Boasts a dynamic story impacted by player choices, a large battle system, and deep strategic gameplay. All 3 titles are set to release in late October or November. The page also introduces the magazine's reviewers. This page is an article from Dreamcast Magazine, showcasing a reader-requested factory tour of the Dreamcast production facility. The article, titled, Dream Magazine, Why What? Exploration Team. Dreamcast Factory Tour. How is the Dreamcast made? Quote, documents a visit to the factory in Fukushima, operated by Asahi Electron. The article highlights the modern and clean facilities, featuring appearances from Sonic the Hedgehog and Rent-a-Hero characters. It details the Dreamcast manufacturing process, and even reveals that American Dreamcast consoles were being produced on the day of the visit. The piece also mentions the factory canteen and provides insights into the scale of production, including a trophy awarded to Sega by Asahi Electron, acknowledging their contribution to the Mega Drive era. The next page is an article that goes behind the scenes at the Dreamcast factory to show how the console is made. It's titled, First Generation Game Machine, SG-1000 and Beyond, Sega Hardware Handled for 16 years. The article takes the form of an interview with Mr. Kotobuki Suganami from Asahi Electronics, who explains the Dreamcast manufacturing process, stating they have 4 factories in Japan. The article shows the Dreamcast assembly line in a step-by-step numbered guide, from mounting the baseboard, attaching the GDROM drive, installing the top cover, modem and checking communication, sticking the product code seal, and finally, product checks. Mr. Suganami mentions that around 160 people are involved in the Dreamcast assembly process at this factory, and they can produce between 5,000 to 6,000 units a day, which can increase to 200,000 units per month. He also mentions that Sega has outsourced the manufacturing to them, and they handle all stages of Dreamcast production, and that before Dreamcast, they also manufactured other Sega consoles like SG-1000, Mark II-I, Master System, Mega Drive 2, and Sega Saturn. This page is an article titled, Dreamiga Why? Exploration Team Dreamcast Factory Tour Dreamcast, How is it made? It shows a step-by-step process of Dreamcast manufacturing, with photos and captions describing each stage. The process starts with component checks, assembly, software installation, and various quality control checks, including playtesting. It then moves through packaging stages, showcasing different steps from inner packaging to final boxing and shipping. There are interview excerpts from someone named Katsunori Wakamiya from Asahi Electronics Production Control Department, discussing aspects of the Dreamcast production process, such as the high level of quality control, the complexity compared to previous Sega consoles, and the daily shipment process. The article emphasizes the craftsmanship and dedication involved in making Dreamcast consoles, and highlights the quality assurance measures taken. It also mentions that Dreamcasts are manufactured in Japan and also for the U.S. market, with production also happening in China and Indonesia. The final part shows a production status board, and mentions that the Dreamcasts made on a particular day are shipped out immediately, including overseas. The Dreamcast Readers' Race, Dreamcast Magazine's popularity poll, presents its 38th rankings, dated October 22nd, featuring the top 30 Dreamcast games. Soul Calibur reigned supreme at number 1, lauded for its fighting mechanics and visuals. Newcomer J-League Pro Soccer Club, Wo Tsukuru, secures the second spot, impressing with enhanced graphics and gameplay compared to its predecessor. Sega Rally 2, Sonic Adventure, and Atsumare Guru Onsen round out the top 5. Other top 10 games include Climax Landers, The House of the Dead 2, and several sports titles. Page. The page also includes reader reviews, with positive comments, particularly highlighting the improvements in J-League Pro Soccer Club, Watsukuru. The rankings celebrate the Dreamcast's diverse game library and reader preferences. This page features game reviews and rankings from a Dreamcast magazine. First up is Black Matrix AD Advance, an SLG/RPG from NEC Interchannel. Reviewers praise it as accessible to anyone, highlighting its animation and story. They mention the combat isn't too difficult, and the BGM is good, and it's considered an improvement over past simulation games. Next is Climax Landers, a Sega RPG, scoring highly with reviewers. The game is described as easy to get into, with character growth and enjoyable minigames on the visual memory. The short story and detailed systems are noted, with some wishing for a longer playtime. Then we have Maboroshi Tsukiyo, an adventure game from Sims. The scenario is praised for its appeal, described as lighthearted and good for female players. The main character and heroine are considered charming, although small text and dark backgrounds when text appears are mentioned as downsides. Finally, there's a ranked list of Dreamcast games, showing their scores and genres. It features games like Dynamite Cop, Psychic Force 2012, Frame Gride, Godzilla Generations, and Seventh Cross Evolution, among many others. Below this is a list of upcoming software expected to rank highly, including MILCD, Tears of Eden, and Sonic Adventure International. This Dreamcast-focused page features game reviews, player feedback, and peripheral rankings. Atsumare Guru Guru Onsen, a network game, receives high praise, 9.238/10, for its online hot spring experience. Player feedback includes VMU and peripheral requests, and discussions about Japanese series. The Furu Furu Pak tops the odds table of peripherals. Game reviews continue, with Grauen no Torikago Capital Contract being recommended with an internet connection, Marionette Company criticized for long load times, 7.0, and Puru Puru Purun, a puzzle game, praised for its depth, 6.0. The page also announces a giveaway and details a prediction game for Space Griffin VF9. This page announces the Sakura Wars Project 2000, revealing a massive undertaking for the Millennium Year. A press conference was held on October 18th at the Tokyo Kusei Nenkin Kaikan, attended by Sega and Red Company executives, the Sakura Wars voice cast and staff, and members of the press. The event unveiled a total of 16 projects across various media. 7 games are in development, including Sakura Wars 1, 2, and 3 for Dreamcast, Hanagumi Taisen Columns 2 for Dreamcast, Ogami Ichiro Tanbuki for Dreamcast, Sakura Wars GB for Game Boy Color, and Sakura Wars Denpa Tai Imperial Theater Branch for PC. 2 stage shows were announced: the Yumi Katsura Grand Collection with Sakura, and the Imperial Opera Troupe's 4th public performance titled Arabian Night. 3 animation projects are also planned, including an OVA, Sakura Wars Radiant World Settled, a television anime adaptation, and a theatrical movie adaptation. Finally, 4 other projects were revealed, which are the drama CD series Third Term, a seasonal magazine, Taigeki Graph Sakura, temporary, a new series of Sakura Wars novels, and the opening of a second Taisho Romance Cafe store. The page emphasizes the scale of the Sakura Wars expansion into the year 2000, showcasing the series' wide reach across different entertainment mediums. The article ends with the tagline, "From now on, Sakura Millennium can be seen," and the logo for Sakura Wars 3 is Paris Burning. Sakura Wars 3, a Dreamcast dramatic adventure game, was slated for an autumn 2000 release. Set in Paris, France, the game centers on the Paris Assault Group, a secret organization of revue actresses defending the city from demonic threats. The game introduces characters like Erica Fontaine and Glycine Bloomer. An interview with staff member Akahori Seta-sensei reveals the story's origins in Hiroi Oji's Dancing Girl. While incorporating historical elements, the narrative is fictionalized, involving World War I and international collaborations. The protagonist, Ogami, is tasked with establishing the Paris Assault Group. The presentation screenshot highlights the game's Dreamcast visuals and mentions the characters having 10 different costumes. This page is a preview of Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning, detailing new features and characters. Sega's Okamura discusses the game system, highlighting seamless ADV, where the story progresses without interruption, enhancing immersion, and analog lips, a dialogue system where the strength and speed of analog input affect the conversation. The game also features active SLG gameplay, likened to an action game, and portable kinematron, VM, for portable minigames and dating events. The drama delivery system will distribute new dramas via internet communication. The game introduces the Kubu F, a new spirit armor developed for the Paris Flower Division, an upgraded version of the Kubu, used by the Imperial Flower Division. The page introduces new characters for the Paris Flower Division. Coquelicot, a cheerful 11-year-old girl from Vietnam in the circus. Lobelia Carlini, a 20-year-old from Transylvania with a gambling habit, considered a troublemaker. Kitaoji Hanabi, a refined 17-year-old from France, described as a Yamato Nadeshiko type, who enjoys reading and calligraphy. The Sakura Wars 3 system section emphasizes the improved visuals using full CG movies and the enhanced interactive drama elements, suggesting players will find it even more engaging. Sakura Project 2000 unveils several new Sakura Wars titles. Sakura Wars 3 for Dreamcast offers a portable experience. Sakura Wars 1 and 2 are coming to Dreamcast as an enhanced bundle with internet features. The original Sakura Wars is planned for a spring 2000 release on Dreamcast. Other titles include Sakura Wars Hanagumi Taisen Columns 2 featuring network battles, and Sakura Wars Dramatic Dungeon 2, a Windows 95/98 desktop accessory collection. Sakura Wars Kaiju Show, a Dreamcast title, lets players experience the Red Lobster Pot show through minigames. Producer Hiroi Uji discusses the project's scale, character popularity, and future plans, including movie adaptations. He aims to create varied content. The next page highlights upcoming Sakura Wars projects for the year 2000, starting with a Yumi Katsura bridal fashion show set for February 22, 2002 at the Tokyo International Forum Hall A. It's described as a bridal fashion show with Sakura Wars characters and a super big project announcement. The Sakura Wars Song Show 4 is slated for summer 2000, titled Arabian Rose, with details to follow. The Sakura Wars OVA series is nearing its conclusion, consisting of 6 parts and available on DVD. Excitingly, a Sakura Wars TV anime adaptation is confirmed, with a strong team including Uji Hiroi as the original creator, Takashi Nakamura directing, and Morio Asaka handling series composition. Adding to this, a movie adaptation is also in the works, planned for release sometime after 2000, promising top-quality Sakura Wars visuals. The drama CD series is entering its 3rd phase, launching with Strange Tale Red Scar Masquerade, released on October 21, 1999, followed by Volume 2, New Journey to the West Jump and Happen, on December 22, 1999. Lastly, there's a seasoned Taigeki Graph Sakura photography book featuring the Imperial Opera Troupe's Flower Division, showcasing location shoots in Sendai and Yokohama. This page features an urgent interview about the postponement of the spring 2000 release of Shenmue Chapter 1, Yokosuka. The interview delves into the truth behind the delay and reports on the current version of the game. The page details events from the 381 days leading up to this point, starting with the initial announcement of Shenmue under its development name, Project Berkeley. Section 1 covers the initial demonstration of Shenmue as Babel Tower on May 21, 1998, highlighting it as a concept for the Dreamcast, showcasing the Nine Dragon City. Section 2 focuses on October 9, 1998, when Project Berkeley was officially revealed in Sega Saturn magazine, clarifying that it was a Dreamcast title. Section 3 reports on the Sega New Challenge Conference 2 on October 16, 1998, where Yu Suzuki's latest work, Shenmue, was first unveiled. Section 4 announces on November 6, 1998, in Dreamcast Magazine that Shenmue's genre is free, full reactive eyes entertainment, clarifying it is not an RPG. Finally, Section 5 highlights the first public release of the Dreamcast version of Virtua Fighter 3 TB in Dreamcast Magazine on November 13, 1998. This special disc, Project Berkeley Special Disc, bundled with the Dreamcast launch title Virtua Fighter 3 TB, included a 30-minute comment from Yu Suzuki. This page details the impending release of Shenmue, featuring an interview with Yu Suzuki. He discusses the game's near completion but acknowledges delays due to manufacturing and distribution, along with ongoing debugging. The project's scope grew significantly, requiring about 3 years of development. The page includes a timeline of key events leading up to the initial release, covering character reveals, title announcements, presentations, and demos from November 1998 through August 1999. These events generated considerable anticipation. Announcements regarding the release date, price, 6,800 yen, and the 3-disc format, along with pre-order bonuses like the Shenmue Jukebox, also appear. Promotional campaigns and a stamp rally further built excitement. The page showcases images of the game's packaging. A note clarifies a release date change to spring 2000 due to incomplete parts, despite the initial October 28 date. The next page focuses on Shenmue, specifically titled, Shenmue 2 is Starting to Move, and investigates the truth behind the delayed spring 2000 release. It features a check section titled, First Time Touch, Limitless Product Version Close, Shenmue, and Part 2, Straightforward Feelings and Opinions, summarizing initial impressions of playing a near-final version of Shenmue. The page highlights 2 key scenes. Scene 1, Opening Demo, which mentions the network jungle scene from May, used in an advertising demo, and Scene 2, Introduction and Worldview, which discusses the opening scene of the game starting on November 29th, the Day of Fate, immediately after pressing start on the title screen. The article describes the opening in detail, mentioning Ryo Hazuki rushing home in the morning, and the unsettling atmosphere of the Hazuki residence. It highlights the encounter with an unknown man in front of the dojo, implying a powerful and overwhelming enemy. The page also discusses the anticipation and slight anxiety of playing the near-final version, stating that after about an hour of gameplay, these feelings were replaced with excitement and enjoyment. It suggests that within 30 minutes of play, players will be fully immersed in the Shenmue world and its unique atmosphere. The article emphasizes the strong impact and emotional depth of Shenmue, suggesting it will be a moving experience for players. Dreamcast Magazine's initial impressions of Shenmue highlight its ambitious scope. Conceived by Yu Suzuki as a two-part game, the preview details a slow start that builds to engaging gameplay, particularly in the latter half with increased action and quick-time events. Screenshots showcase free quest scenarios in the Hazuki residence and Dobuta areas, demonstrating the game's free-roaming aspects. While initial gameplay may seem slow, exploration becomes more immersive as players progress, with dynamic environments adding to the experience. The article suggests a positive first impression and a desire for a full review, indicating the team's excitement to provide in-depth coverage upon the game's release. This page is a sample experience report for Cyber Troopers Virtual On Oratorio Tangram on Dreamcast, announcing that the DC version online battle is nearly complete and there are 49 days until release. It mentions a national tournament and highlights that sample ROMs have arrived. The report describes the gameplay as having no sense of incongruity from the arcade version and focuses on the twin-stick controls, noting they feel just like the arcade. It also mentions a CG opening demo and details the communication battles. There's a section describing the game's features, like a watch mode to observe CPU battles with various camera angles. And a new stage called Autobahn is showcased. The game is confirmed to be arcade perfect, including the ending. The page lists details like the release date of December 9th, the price of 5,800 yen, that it's a 3D battle action game for 12 players. It also mentions it supports twin sticks, versus cables, rumble packs, VGA, and communication battles. Finally, there is information about the twin sticks controller, describing its appearance with gray levers and orange buttons, a VM port, start and pause buttons, and the availability of communication cables for versus play using two Dreamcast consoles. This page is all about Virtual On Oratorio Tangram on Dreamcast and reports on the Battle for the Climax National Tournament. It announces two new stages being added to the game. 8th Plant Flesh Refo Space Dock, a space dock stage returning from previous games, and Restricted Area, MGA0 Vertebrate Shaft #05, a stage with large obstacles in the center. Dr. Watari reports on the tournament held on October 11th at Belfar, expressing gratitude for the large turnout and positive feedback. He notes the tactical depth of the battles and mentions the winning team will receive the title, the Knights of Tangram. He also mentions that DC version will have opportunities for battles as well, and is pleased by the high level of play. The page also lists the results of the tournament bracket, showing various teams and their regions. The winning team was Adam and Eve and Debut, Rice Killing, from the Tokyo South area. Other notable teams listed are Omakase from the Central region, Diet Rebounders from the North Kanto region, and Franken Suda UNC, who received a special prize. There's a section highlighting the Dreamcast version playzone at the event, and a talk show featuring producers, designers, and programmers discussing the DC version network battles and new stages, noting positive audience reactions. The text emphasizes that the release date will absolutely not be delayed. Finally, there's a Dream Magazine Reader's Present section, mentioning premium cards and pin badges as gifts for readers. This page is a special report on the Dreamcast game Ready to Rumble Boxing, a comic-style boxing title that was a major hit in America and is now set to launch in Japan this December. It's priced at 5,800 yen and supports 12 players with arcade stick and rumble pack compatibility. The game is described as featuring flashy, American-born characters and promises over-the-top action with chaotic boxing matches involving both male and female fighters and flexible rules. The preview emphasizes the game's speed and exhilarating gameplay, suggesting it surpasses typical fighting games. Two characters are spotlighted. Afro Thunder, presented as a main character with a background as a taxi driver and a special move called Up Tempo, and Salua, a former sumo wrestler from Hawaii who transitioned to boxing, weighing 3 times as much as Afro Thunder and boasting a all-you-can-eat special. Screenshots from the game showcase the action with health bars and character portraits, and the article suggests it could be a surprise hit in Japan, despite its American origin. This page showcases the game Ready to Rumble Boxing. It highlights that gameplay is based on footwork or power boxing, with directional buttons for movement, and ABXY buttons for punches. LR triggers are used for guard. The game features special moves like Rumble Flurry, which is activated after building up the rumble mark meter. The page mentions the game was shown at E3 and received positive attention. Characters like Celine Strike are featured, along with Boris the Bear Nokimov, who is described as a hero in the boxing world, with a special move called Justice Axel. Butcher Brown is also highlighted as a former world champion with the special move Wild Ride, and is described as one of the most wild fighters. The game is described as having deep gameplay beyond its cartoonish looks. This page is about Space Channel 5, reporting on the Shiba Para version demo showcased at the Shibuya Paradise event in Shibuya from October 1st to 11th. The event featured promotional flags, a stage, videos, and playable demos of the game. The article announces the release date for Space Channel 5 as December 16th, priced at 5,800 yen, highlighting it as a single-player music game. Survey results from people who played the demo are included, covering their age, occupation, reasons for visiting Shibuya, whether they played the game and if they liked it, their knowledge of Dreamcast, and their thoughts on the Moroseigen aliens. The Moroseigen appears in Shibuya. Page documents a promotional event in Tokyo's Shibuya district. Moroseigen characters, likely from the Space Channel 5 game, appeared, creating a buzz and attracting attention. The event featured various scenarios, including Moroseigen interacting with people, exploring buildings, and even posing as a terrifying figure outside HMV. The page includes comments from people who encountered the characters, overwhelmingly describing them as kawaii, cute, and expressing enjoyment. Groups traveled to Shibuya specifically to see the Moroseigen. The event's sections depict various interactions, from lonely Moroseigen meeting girls to others exploring cultural environments. The event culminates with a group of girls posing with the Moroseigen, indicating successful promotion of the Space Channel 5 game. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Choo Choo Rocket, described as a cute and exciting puzzle game from Sonic Team. It's highlighted as a 3-beat action puzzle game with network and cooperative play features. The page details that in Choo Choo Rocket, you guide cute space mice, known as choo-choos, into rockets using arrows while avoiding cat-like creatures called kapu-kapus. It mentions that by clearing the stage challenge mode in Choo Choo Rocket, players can unlock Chao from Sonic Adventure as a playable character in the game. The game supports up to 4 players and is compatible with various Dreamcast accessories like the VGA box, VMU, arcade stick, and keyboard. The release date is set for November 11th, with a standard edition and a color controller pack available. Sonic Team added Chao as a special treat for Sonic Adventure fans. The page encourages players to try the stage challenge to unlock and play as Chao. This page is a promotional feature for the game Choo Choo Rocket, highlighting its various game modes and network capabilities. It emphasizes that all modes are playable online. The page details 4 main game modes: a chaotic 4-player battle mode where players compete individually, a team battle mode for cooperative or competitive team play, and a stage challenge mode for 1 or 2 players focused on puzzle solving and time attacks, which involves guiding mice and avoiding cats. A unique feature mentioned is the Kotugeki system, where players can use L or R triggers to send preset voice messages to other players during battle modes, enhancing communication and trash talking. The page also explains the core gameplay mechanic of placing arrows to guide the choo-choos, mice, and kapus, cats. Players can place up to 3 arrows at a time, and new arrows replace the oldest ones. Arrows also disappear over time, adding a strategic element. Finally, it introduces a puzzle and puzzle edit mode for single players, where players solve puzzles with limited arrows, and can even create and share their own levels online. The page promotes the game's puzzle aspect and the ability to exchange puzzle data online, suggesting a community aspect to level creation and sharing. This page is for Aero Dancing F, known internationally as Aero Wings 2, Airstrike, a combat flight simulator game. It seems to be a preview, announcing its development with a 40% completion status. The game is developed by CRI and planned for release in spring 2000. Price is yet to be determined. It supports 1 to 2 players and offers a real dogfight simulation experience. The game is compatible with ASC2 mission sticks, supports force feedback, VGA output, and communication features. The tagline at the bottom mentions soaring with supersonic wings. This page is focused on the game Aero Dancing F, featuring Blue Impulse, highlighting its immersive dogfight gameplay. The article emphasizes the realistic flight experience and the feeling of aerial combat. It mentions that the game builds upon the previous title by adding elements requested by users, focusing on the thrill of flying and fighting in the sky. The screenshots showcase the cockpit view and intense air-to-air combat scenarios. The article praises the game's realistic portrayal of aircraft movements, engine sounds, and visual effects like wings cutting through the air. It concludes by saying the game is an uncompromising pursuit of realism and a must-see. This page is an article from Dreamcast Magazine titled Aerodancing F System Pursuit. It highlights the deep system and effects of the game, assuring readers that anyone can play it while still being authentically hardcore. The article emphasizes the realistic flight experience, noting that the game goes beyond visuals to capture the true, real feel of flying. It mentions impressive visual effects like water pillars during low-altitude flight, detailed backgrounds including buildings and ground details, and effects such as wingtip vortices during sharp turns and contrails during level flight. The game is described as having challenging AI opponents who are not just simple punching bags. They utilize 3D positioning, altitude, speed, and trajectory, requiring strategic thinking and precise maneuvers. The page also introduces basic aerial combat tactics like searching, approaching, and engaging. It emphasizes the importance of finding the enemy, positioning yourself advantageously, ideally behind them, and using radar and visual confirmation. Redline guidance missiles are mentioned as effective when fired from behind the target. The screenshots showcase in-game menus, cockpit views, and aerial combat scenes, highlighting the detailed graphics and realistic flight simulation aspects of Aerodancing F. This page is about the game Aerodancing F, showcasing its replay features and game modes. It highlights the enhanced replay function after battles, allowing players to analyze their flights and improve their skills. The page delves into the origin of the term dogfight in aerial combat. 4 game modes are detailed. Fighter pilot mission, where players train as pilot candidates through various missions. Tactical challenge, which presents timed score-based challenges. Free flight, for enjoying free flight in various stages. And multiplay for 1 versus 1 battles, though online functionality is unclear. The page emphasizes weapon selection, mentioning infrared homing missiles and machine guns, highlighting the importance of choosing weapons wisely based on the situation and understanding their performance. Finally, it briefly touches upon the leaving mechanic, describing the need to quickly leave the combat airspace and recover altitude and speed after a successful attack to prepare for the next battle. This page is showcasing a Dreamcast game that focuses on realistic fighter jet combat, featuring aircraft from the Japan Air Self-Defense Force and the U.S. military. The page highlights 2 key aircraft, the F-104J Starfighter and the F-15DJ Eagle, both presented with in-game cockpit views and technical data. The F-104J is described as the last manned fighter, and the F-15DJ Eagle is touted as the strongest aircraft of the 20th century. The game emphasizes detailed maps, modeled after real-world Japan Air Self-Defense Force bases. Base S is based on Shizuhama Air Base, known for pilot training with T-3 trainers, featuring a short runway. Base based on Matsushima Air Base, home of the Blue Impulse aerobatic team, and also a pilot training base, located near Matsushima, one of Japan's 3 most scenic spots. The page emphasizes the realistic environments and the changing weather and times of day affecting the gameplay, aiming for a real flight experience. It seems like the game is aiming for detailed maps and realistic aircraft. This page presents aircraft information, likely in relation to the game Aerodancing F. It showcases 2 aircraft, the F-4 Phantom F-4EJ and the F-16A Fighting Falcon. Data for each plane is listed, detailing their specifications. The page also introduces locations within the game. Base 2 featuring Iwo Jima as a stage, and SEAI, suggesting a large ocean environment. And next issue preview section announces that Aerodancing F coverage will continue in the next issue, featuring Kyushu and Shindahara bases. This page is a special report from Dreamcast Magazine focusing on F1 World Grand Prix for Dreamcast, known internationally as F1 World Grand Prix 2000. It's highlighted as a highly anticipated F1 racing game for the Dreamcast. The report details several key features, including support for video systems, 2-player battles, and compatibility with racing controllers, vibration packs, VGA, NVM. It also notes the Japanese release date of November 25th and a price of 5,800 yen. The article emphasizes the game's commitment to realism, boasting incredibly detailed car models and faithfully recreated versions of all 16 F1 courses. It also mentions the game being showcased at the F1 Japan Grand Prix event at Suzuka Circuit in October. Screenshots illustrate the in-game graphics and racing action. This page is all about the game F1 World Grand Prix for Dreamcast. It's showcasing the single race mode and how to get started. The page walks you through the steps, beginning with picking your team and driver, noting that team choice impacts performance. Next, you can tweak driver options to adjust the realism of the driving experience. Then, you select your circuit from a roster of 16 courses. Following this, you can customize race options like weather, laps, and damage. Finally, you reach the paddock screen to fine-tune your car setup before starting the race. The page also introduces all 11 teams featured in the game, with a spotlight on Ferrari and their drivers, including Michael Schumacher and Eddie Irvine, Williams Mechachrome with drivers like Jacques Villeneuve and Heinz-Harald Frentzen, and Benetton Playlife, featuring drivers such as Giancarlo Fisichella and Alexander Wurz. It highlights the inclusion of Japanese drivers like Shinji Nakano and Toranosuke Takagi for the '98 season in the game. This page is focused on F1 World Grand Prix for DC, highlighting key features of the game. The page emphasizes the realistic weather conditions, offering 5 options: sunny, partly cloudy, cloudy, light rain, and rain, showcasing screenshots for each. It mentions that weather changes dynamically during races, offering a realistic racing experience and water screen effects in rain conditions. The machine settings section details customizable car settings such as fuel, tire, front/rear wing, gear ratio, suspension, brake sensitivity, brake balance, steering, and transmission, allowing for fine-tuning of the car. The 5 viewpoints section for beginners to experts includes screenshots and descriptions for each view: nose, onboard, helmet cam, cockpit, rear, and high rear viewpoints. The cockpit view is highlighted as unique and immersive, recommended for F1 fans. The page also introduces 4 F1 teams featured in the game: McLaren Mercedes with drivers Mika Hakkinen and David Coulthard, Prost Peugeot with drivers Olivier Panis and Jarno Trulli, Jordan Mugen Honda with drivers Ralf Schumacher and Damon Hill, and Sauber Petronas with drivers Jean Alesi and Johnny Herbert. Each team section includes a brief description and driver information. This page is a game preview for F1 World Grand Prix for Dreamcast. The page highlights various features of the game, focusing on user customization and replay options. Users can adjust various settings to enhance realism, such as enabling flags and car damage, setting the number of laps, and randomizing weather conditions. The game aims to provide an immersive experience, allowing players to enjoy races with settings mimicking real-world conditions. The replay feature is described as extensive, offering various camera angles like TV camera view, rear wing view, side pontoon view, and front suspension view, to relive races from different perspectives. The page also showcases 4 Formula One teams featured in the game: Arrows with drivers M. Salo and P. Dinez, Tyrrell Ford with drivers R. Rosset and T. Takagi, Stewart Ford with drivers R. Barrichello and J. Verstappen, and Minardi Ford with drivers N. Nakano and E. Tuero. This page is a Dreamcast special report focusing on the upcoming game, Berserk. It's highlighted as a dramatic 3D action title aimed at fans of the original manga and action game enthusiasts alike. The game was showcased at a recent game show, impressing viewers with its beautiful visuals. The story, which is being unveiled alongside in-game footage and the opening narrative, is set to link with the serialized manga in Young Animal magazine. The game will be released on December 16th for 6,800 yen and is a single-player experience. The page emphasizes the legendary plant, Mandragora, and how it touches people's bodies and hearts, teasing a story about Guts encountering an incident during his travels after reuniting with Casca, whose whereabouts were previously unknown. The game is currently 80% complete. This page showcases artwork related to Berserk, featuring characters such as Guts, Casca, and Puck. The artwork is likely related to a game, potentially on the Dreamcast platform given the magazine's focus, although the specific game title isn't immediately clear. The Japanese text clearly indicates the theme of the page is Berserk, and game music is also visible, hinting at possible game music content related to Berserk. It seems to be a promotional page highlighting the Berserk franchise within the context of Dreamcast gaming. This page is a story digest from Dreamcast Magazine focusing on the game Berserk. The digest introduces the meeting of a traveling performer girl named Rita with Guts. Scene 1, titled Black Swordsman Appears, depicts Guts' arrival in a town where Rita's group is facing difficulties. Guts, a black swordsman with a massive sword, intervenes to help Rita, who is grateful for his assistance. A character file section highlights Casca, described as a female knight, who once led the Band of the Hawk mercenary group and is now mentally unstable due to past traumatic events. The page seems to be previewing the game's storyline, showcasing polygon models and event scenes, and introducing key characters like Rita, Guts, and Casca. This page, titled And Then, the Devil's Appearance, is a Berserk characters file focusing on Puck and Rita. Scene 2, In the Crowd, depicts a scenario where Puck and Rita are present. Puck is introduced as a cheerful and bright little partner, described as a small sprite who is normally unseen by humans, but appears openly in this case, which is attributed to his personality. Rita is shown performing a brilliant knife throw, and there's a mention of Guts sensing a presence from Rita's large companion. The page also teases something appearing from under a hood. Puck's deformed appearance is also highlighted and presented as a comical element carried over from the original Berserk manga, and is noted to be a fan-pleasing feature when rendered in 3D CG for the Dreamcast game Berserk Millennium Falcon Arc, Chapter of the Holy Demon War, released only in Japan. The Dreamcast game Berserk presents Scene 3, Mutation, where a man named Yopa transforms into a monster due to a root-like plant. Villagers, fearing him, drive him from the town, while Rita attempts to intervene. Yopa, now monstrous, attacks, prompting Guts to prepare for battle. The scene highlights mandrake dementia, a condition caused by the mandrake plant, which grants longevity but also madness. Yopa, stronger than a typical mandrake dementia enemy, is a formidable foe. Guts entrusts Casca to Puck. The scene's title, Tragedy Unfolds, emphasizes the dire situation, as Rita cries out to the rampaging Yopa, who has succumbed to the plant's influence. Guts realizes the severity of the situation. This page is about the Dreamcast game Berserk, subtitled Monster of Doragora Possession. It describes a scene where Guts defeats an enemy, and the villagers, relieved, turn on the dead foe. Rita is upset by the brutality, but Guts simply states he doesn't know how to hold back with monsters. Scene 4 introduces Lord Balzac here. He arrives in a carriage and explains the Mandragora possession is a disease causing madness and violence. Balzac, the lord of the town, claims to be researching this disease and offers to help Guts. Guts is invited to Balzac's castle, where Balzac says he wants to show Guts something. The article hints at what Guts will see at the castle and teases the next episode. A check section highlights Guts' emotional state, showing how he subtly conveys his worry for Casca without explicitly stating it. He tells Puck to inform him immediately if anything happens, implying he doesn't fully trust Balzac. This showcases the depth of Guts' character, even with limited dialogue. The next page focuses on a game system close-up and highlights unexpected event scenes in gameplay, showing how player decisions can change the course of events. It seems to be featuring the game based on the manga series Berserk. The page describes an event where Guts approaches a hanging bridge and notices an enemy trying to cut the ropes from the other side. The player is prompted to press a button in a QuickTime event. Success means Guts swiftly presses the button and proceeds smoothly, while failure results in falling off the bridge to a lower path, described as a less desirable and precarious route. The page also mentions the game's graphic nature, emphasizing the depiction of meat pieces and monsters, and highlights Guts' powerful sword and its devastating impact on enemies. The next page introduces enemies from the game Berserk. It details the two-body fusion type Mandragora Devourer, which is a rare Mandragora-type enemy formed from fused individuals, boasting speed and power defying its awkward appearance. It utilizes various attacks like jumping slams and grappling throws, and guarding is ineffective against it, indicating a tough fight. The page also features the parasitic wild dog type Mandragora Devourer, a Mandragora possibly parasitizing wild dogs, appearing smaller than humanoid types, making some attacks harder to hit, and being troublesome when surrounded. Additionally, the page describes enemy soldiers divided into Wild Dog A as generic soldiers, Wild Dog B as slightly stronger enemies with varied attacks including thrusting, sweeping, and striking, and Wild Dogs C, described as sneaky number 3 members who use thrown weapons. Finally, knight enemies in full plate armor are introduced, who should be formidable opponents if they are well trained and use swords and shields effectively, though their actual combat capability is questioned. This page is about the upcoming Dreamcast game Dogu Senki Hao, a fantasy simulation developed by Victor Interactive Software and scheduled for release this winter. Character designer Mikimoto Haruhiko is interviewed about his work on the game, revealing his passion for the project and some of the development secrets behind his character designs. The game is priced at 5,800 yen and will feature 2-player versus mode. The game is currently 30% complete. The article highlights the involvement of anime director Ichiro Itano in the game. Dogu Senki Hao depicts the ancient nation of Mu on Mars, a peaceful civilization with elemental powers and advanced superweapons called Dogu. This peace is threatened by the arrival of the evil Nibel civilization. Key characters introduced include the young Queen Mumu, the wise High Priest Gaga, and the powerful former Queen Tiamat. The Fire Dogu, L, is also presented, a fire-powered weapon. An interview with creators Makoto Makino and Yoshiki Mimori reveals the game's origins as a board game concept. Mimori, the illustrator, prefers to focus on art, while Makino directs and produces. Mimori also discusses his efforts to establish character design as a legitimate profession, emphasizing the importance of protecting artists' rights and the current value of character design in the gaming industry. This page is a Dreamcast special feature focusing on memorable character designs, featuring an interview with the designer Mikimoto. He discusses his work on character designs, particularly for Virtua Fighter Extreme Online, mentioning the difficulty in switching between human-like and stylized designs. He aimed for symbolic meaning in his designs, especially for a character called Gaga, whose distinctive hairstyle is highlighted. The interview reveals a surprising fact. Gaga was initially conceived as a female character, but was changed to male, seemingly due to a design oversight. Mikimoto mentions regretting this change, and states his personal favorite design is Dogu, from Dogu Senki. The page then introduces newly revealed designs for 5 elemental gods, showcasing Michael, the fire god described as the incarnation of raging flames, Gabriella, the water god and source of all life depicted with fish-like elements, and Uriel, the earth god embodying the grandeur of the earth, resembling a mountain lord rather than a typical god. This page is an interview with Haruhiko Mikimoto, a character designer known for his work on the anime series Macross. The interview focuses on his expectations for the game Dogu Senki Hao, which translates to Dogu Battle Chronicle Ruler. Mikimoto mentions his excitement to see how the mecha and characters will move in the game, especially with Norino-san's involvement. He appreciates the feeling of movement that can be achieved in anime and games compared to manga and illustrations, and believes Dogu will be enjoyable in this aspect. The page showcases character designs for Dogu Senki Hao, based on the 5 elements. There are images and descriptions for characters representing wind, Rafaela, and light, Metatola. Rafaela, the wind deity, is described as dancing gracefully in the sky, resembling a harpy from Norse mythology. Metatola, the light deity, is described as warding off evil with holy light, with flowing hair, and an angelic halo. There are also interview word definitions provided. One explains that Norino-san refers to Norino Ichiro, who is involved in the planning and direction of Dogu Battle Chronicle. He is noted for directing famous anime like Space Runaway Ideon and Super Dimension Fortress Macross. Another definition explains Macross as an anime about the battle between Earthlings and aliens called Zentra 80, highlighting Mikimoto's character design work on it and its immense popularity. Megazone 23 is also mentioned as an anime directed by Norino Ichiro. This page is a Dreamcast Magazine special report focusing on the upcoming game Death Crimson 2, with the subtitle Melanito's Sanctuary. It highlights a collaboration between Eco-L and Dreamcast Magazine for this project. The article describes it as a wild ambition and a dark shooting game supporting 1 to 4 players, compatible with Dreamcast peripherals such as the gun, microphone, VGA, and online play. Reaching 95% completion, the game is scheduled for release on November 25th. The magazine includes a Dreamcast GDROM demo, allowing players to experience mission mode with 2 stages, the story mode prologue, watch the opening movie, and even access the option settings. Screenshots throughout the page showcase various aspects of the game, including gameplay and story sequences. Furthermore, a soundtrack CD titled Crimson Record is announced, featuring 15 tracks from the game, including Yuri's theme song, Maybe Someday. This soundtrack will be available in a limited premium edition, exclusively for Dreamcast Magazine readers, and is priced at 2,625 yen, also releasing on November 25th. This article details gameplay mechanics and announces an event for Death Crimson 2. Players can shift viewpoints using directional buttons or a gun controller. The score system dynamically adjusts based on enemy actions, with multipliers for different behaviors. Damage also varies based on hit location, with the head inflicting the most damage. A nationwide Caravan Preview 99 event is announced, with tour stops across Japan in late October and November. The article concludes with a diary entry discussing positive reception and anticipation for the game's release, indicating the game is nearing completion and will be released on time. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Desperia 2, A Rainy Le Fay's Morning. It announces a release date of November 25, 1999. The ad highlights features like data delivery via Dream Passport, Dreamcast light gun compatibility, and microphone device support. The text also mentions that the player's own voice can be used for damage voices. The page includes screenshots from the game and features the Dreamcast logo and a stylized Dreamcast light gun. A smaller section in the bottom left advertises the WonderSwan game Musapei's Choco Marker, also from Acol, scheduled for a spring 2000 release. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast version of Zombie Revenge. The release date has been unfortunately delayed until November 25th, but to compensate, they are showcasing all the new features exclusive to the Dreamcast edition. This version is described as the most different flavor and includes a packed original mode, a boss mode, a training mode to raise strong characters, and a fighting mode to battle friends with those trained characters. Surprisingly, it also supports the Dreamcast fishing controller and the Dreamcast light gun. Finally, the page mentions an introduction to the arcade mode episodes 4 and 5. The game is an action title, supports two-player gameplay, and is compatible with various Dreamcast peripherals like the arcade stick, rumble pack, visual memory, and VGA output. The price is listed as 5,800 yen. This page is a preview for the Dreamcast game Origin, highlighting the new Mode Select feature, which offers different gameplay styles compared to the arcade version. The gun mode enhances gun combat, making handguns powerful enough to defeat enemies in one shot, but with limited ammunition and weaker melee attacks. Bare knuckle mode focuses on close quarters combat, disabling guns and significantly increasing the power of punches and kicks. The page also briefly mentions the stick 3P color, suggesting a visual customization option for the character's stick, possibly linked to special abilities in the Dreamcast version. The preview emphasizes the contrast between these modes and the standard arcade mode, asking players which mode they would prefer. The text also proclaims, "I am the main character stick." This page is highlighting new features for Zombie Revenge in original mode. Firstly, it introduces the 3P color costumes, a new addition for the Dreamcast version. These are alternative outfits, different from the usual 1P and 2P colors. You can select them at the character select screen by pressing Start and Y button together. Interestingly, for the stick-wielding character, the 3P costume changes depending on items you pick up during gameplay. The page also mentions that the standard 2P costumes are still selectable using Start with the A or X button. Secondly, the page reveals the existence of cheat items in original mode. These items are designed to make the game easier, and you can choose them from a cheat item select screen before starting episode 1. It seems like these cheats offer unlimited time and continues, aimed at helping players new to the game. Finally, the page specifically showcases Linda's 3P color outfit, describing it as a striking catsuit that really emphasizes her style and figure. There are screenshots showing Linda's 3P color costume from behind and in-game. This page is about the game Zombie Revenge and its original mode's growth game feature using food ingredients. It explains how to collect food in the main game to use in the VM growth game. The page details different types of food ingredients available like vegetables, tuna, meat, tomato, gum, and fresh A, each with a short description about their in-game properties or real-world associations. It shows how collected food items can be transferred from the Dreamcast to the visual memory, VM, for use in the growth game. The article also mentions Aoshima's 3P color as a feature, suggesting alternate character appearances. And it shows a character model from the back with MC Bu Esujima written on their jacket. The screenshots showcase gameplay and menus related to food storage and selection. This page is focused on the VS Boss mode in Zombie Revenge. It explains the Boss Select mode, which allows players to replay fights against bosses they have previously defeated. The page details how the battle records are tracked, showing best times and boss levels, noting that bosses become stronger through 5 levels of difficulty. The page also outlines various option settings available. These include difficulty settings, continue options, key configuration, number of matches, battle time limits, and the option for zombie assist during fights. Screenshots illustrate the gameplay, showing boss battles and the fighting mode specific options available in the game. It highlights that option settings are available for the fighting game mode, with zombie assist being a key point. The next page is about character training on the Dreamcast VM, focusing on nurturing characters through the visual memory. It details a training room concept, highlighting 4 key steps: downloading a training game onto the VM, selecting a character to train, training the character within VM minigames, and feeding the character Gohan, food, to influence their parameters. The page explains that by downloading a training game to the VM from the training room, players can raise characters. The character selection section emphasizes choosing any character, suggesting personal preference. The training itself involves using minigames to improve the character. Two minigames are mentioned: zombie fishing, described as reeling in zombies, and zombie doubt, which involves memorizing card suits and marks to identify discrepancies. The Gohan section explains that feeding characters different food items impacts their parameters, influencing their fighting abilities in the main game, suggesting vegetables increase attack power. Finally, the parameter confirmation section explains that after playing minigames and feeding the character, players can check their stats, including Hey Shu, likely hit points, AT, attack power, and DE, defense power, all crucial for fighting mode. The page shows an example of stat increases after training and encourages players to monitor character condition. This page highlights the fighting mode in Zombie Revenge. It details a versus fighting game mode within Zombie Revenge, allowing players to battle each other with characters they have trained in the main game. The page showcases the character select screen with characters Stick and Busujima, explaining that the rule is simple: reduce the opponent's life gauge to 0. It introduces the Zombie Assist feature, a handicap system where zombies appear to aid the player with a lower character level. The page promotes playing with the Dreamcast gun and the fishing controller as alternative input methods, detailing the button assignments for each controller type, and mentions 2-player simultaneous play. This page showcases Episode 4 of The House of the Dead 2, titled Terminus of All. It highlights key events in this episode, starting with a runaway unmanned train filled with zombies. Players will encounter rooms packed with explosives and more zombies. The notorious boss Zed makes a return, referred to as God of Destruction. The page also spotlights new weapon types, guitar-shaped machine guns and launchers, emphasizing the unique and over-the-top action of the House of the Dead 2. Bosses like UDS-06B and UDS-07 are featured, along with locations Area 5 South Union Railway and Area 6 Cassandra. The overall impression is that Episode 4 is a thrilling and intense part of the game. This page focuses on Episode 5, Gate of Destiny, the Gate of Zombie Revenge, set in Area 7, MT Sacrifice. It highlights key events in the game, starting with Event 4, Burning Truck, where enemies called Zed vanish after a truck burns, and new enemies emerge. Event 5 introduces the Gatekeeper, a massive and seemingly inhuman enemy, described as a fully armed gatekeeper and a UDS lifeform, suggesting handguns are ineffective against it. Finally, Event 6, The Door is Now Open, describes the aftermath of defeating the gatekeeper, with a large door opening and a sense of foreboding. The page also features enemy close-ups, UDST-201 and UDST-200, noting that UDSTP enemies are small and can't be targeted initially, while UDST-200 is a gatekeeper boss, guarding the door and equipped with missiles, machine guns, and other weaponry. Screenshots throughout illustrate these events and enemy encounters. This page is a photocomic preview for the game D2, acting as the third part in a series of articles. D2 is described as an RPG action game for Dreamcast, compatible with peripherals and for one player only, set to be released on December 23rd, priced at 6,800 yen, 4 discs. It aims to deliver terror and quirky humor, drawing players into an unforgettable world. The comic strip depicts scenes from the game's opening. Scene 0 is a collision accident, followed by Scene 1 titled Metamorphosis, showing a hijack situation. The following panels show characters reacting to events, with sounds like BAM, PAT, CHK, THUD, HFF, THK, SHA, and SCREE. The dialogue includes phrases like, huh? What is this? Something is. What is? This guy. Something is wrong. The final panels show the transformation of a human character into a spider-like monster, accompanied by the text, "From human to monster transformation." That was an invitation to true terror. The comic ends with, "To be continued first scene." This page presents a character file for Kinberry Fox from the game D2, numbered as character file number 002. Kinberry Fox, aged 3-3, is described as appearing in D2 after previously being in Enemy 0. She is portrayed as active and dynamic, contrasting with a quiet image. The text mentions that her personality is also quite intense, and the D2 story will reveal more about her than what was previously known about Laura in Enemy 0. The page includes comments from Innocent, who explains that Kinberry's design was inspired by a magazine photo of someone looking cool. They liked it so much they decided to make it Kinberry's face. He mentions that in D2, Kinberry plays a more active role, especially in the middle stages of the game and beyond. He indicates that the scenario is written so that you'll understand more about her on a second playthrough, especially regarding her background and context related to emergency situations. He calls her a really good character. Screenshots on the page depict Kinberry in various in-game situations, including scenes in a snowy environment, inside a vehicle, and in an interior setting that looks like a dining area. The page announces the Sketches 2 image album by Kenji Eno for D2, featuring acoustic and techno tracks. The album includes piano versions of the main theme and songs from the Tokyo Game Show, 99 autumn promotional videos, as well as a series of rhythm sketches and theme sketches for various characters. The page also promotes a prediction contest based on D2 characters. Participants must predict whether characters like Laura, Kimberly, and others will live or die, and whether their blood will be red or green. Prizes are offered for accurately predicting the fate of all 8 listed characters. Entries must be submitted by December 22nd using a provided application form. Guru Powers! Dream Plaza is a reader submission corner showcasing Dreamcast enthusiasm. The page features comments, drawings, and experiences shared by fans, including the Usagi Maki sisters with Kat, Dreamchan, Kistakun, and Boo Boo, who embody the spirit of the plaza. Readers discuss broken school computers, remixed game songs, and the NHK drama Asuka. They share experiences with Guru Onsen, controller failures, and game trade-in campaigns. Other topics include opinions on Dead or Alive, the typing of the dead, and the Dreamcast's American release. Readers also mention their struggles with Cremax Landers, praise Poppin' Music 2, and the desire for a Dreamcast over a PlayStation to play games like Parappa the Rapper 2 plus Crime and Doko de Moisio. The page concludes with praise for the design of Neji Taiheyu. Overall, the page reflects the Dreamcast's excitement and diverse gaming experiences. This page presents a collection of Japanese user-generated content. The Illusion Aquarium Comic Haul features 4 short comics. The first discusses fish preparations. The second explores aquarium dates and semen avoidance. The third depicts a reverse semen reading to a human. And the final comic compares fish to semen. An Angry User Outbreak section discusses the popularity of semen and hints at exploring its mysteries. The Illustration Garden section features winter sports illustrations, including a sidecar motorcycle. Other contributions include a drawing of a scary bear-like character, a screenshot of the popular game Phantasy Star Online, announcing upcoming online play, an illustration referencing the Selpantes creature, and an illustration showing enjoyment of an arcade port game. This page is a reader submission section called Girls Gossip Corner Big Sister's Secret. Readers from different prefectures have submitted illustrations and short messages. One section titled Gru Elementary School also features reader submissions. The submissions are mostly lighthearted anecdotes and drawings in a manga style. There's no specific game information or reviews featured here, but it's a community page where readers share personal stories and artwork, likely related to the magazine's general themes. This page from Dreamcast Magazine features a Dream Meeting section, where readers share their hopes for games on the Dreamcast. Requests include online play for games like Bomberman and Momotaro Dentetsu, which was never released internationally. Fans also desire sequels to Golden Axe and Bonanza Bros. A reader suggests bringing Valkis, released internationally as Android Assault: The Revenge of Barry Arm, from the Sega Saturn to the Dreamcast, and recommends the Fire Pro Wrestling series for the Dreamcast. There are also fan submissions with drawings and comments. One is a humorous drawing of a fake Knights character. Another features a girl who hopes for new games, but also wants to enjoy games like Clarisse, referencing Burning Rangers. There's a request for a sequel to the manga Laughter and Anger of the World to become a game, alongside calls for Dragon Force 2i, and a game adaptation of the manga Blade of the Immortal. The page includes a Guru Guru Liberation District announcement section, with a Guru Guru QTE of the Week, showing a comic strip-style drawing that seems to be related to a driving game. Finally, there is a section detailing how to send submissions to the magazine, including the new postal address and guidelines for illustrations and text. This week's pickup area showcases fan art like Trap Adventure and This Week's Marital Love. The page is filled with reader contributions and showcases the community aspect of the magazine. This page is about Hiroki Hayama, a musician known for his game music, particularly for the 93 game CD Cho Aniki. His latest album, 99 Cho Aniki Rhapsody Best and Super Remix, was released on April 23rd. He is noted for his digital sampling sound and wild vocals. The article talks about his work on Super Robot Wars Alpha for PlayStation, including the opening and ending themes. He also worked on the music for Cho Aniki, Wonderswan. He mentions producing soundtracks and releasing them, including a planned soundtrack for Cho Aniki, even if it is mostly beep sounds. There is release information for Front Mission 3rd original soundtrack, highlighting it's composed by Hayama Hiroki and Matsueda Norihito, released by Squaresoft. Also advertised is 10 Plants 2 Children's Song CD, scheduled for release on October 27th. With Hayama participating in one song. Another release is 99 Cho Aniki Rhapsody Best and Super Remix CD. Merchandise is also advertised, including Hayama Hiroki t-shirts and bandanas, available for mail order. The page also includes a home page address and contact information for inquiries. This page is a manga strip titled Tankobon Publication Commemoration, featuring characters with TV heads and the number 32 on them. It appears to be a humorous story related to Sega games. The characters, labeled Father, Mother, Older Brother, and Younger Brother, are having a discussion about going to China. The father character mentions Sega and Universal, implying some connection to game development or distribution. The younger brother character is excited and says, "Finally my time has come, and I will do my best." The father character is against going to China. There is a scene where the younger brother is being pushed and told to go to China. The phrase Chase QTE appears, which is likely a game reference, possibly related to QuickTime events popular in games like Shenmue. The bottom text mentions Sega Family Game, and that the cast roles will be announced in the next issue. It also mentions Samsung Yoshimatsu, and the phrase, "Sega's games are the best in the world," pointing to a celebratory or promotional comic strip about Sega games. This page is a manga strip titled Shenmue Release Delay Commemoration Manga, from the Samsung Yoshimatsu Theater. It's a humorous comic about the delay of the highly anticipated Dreamcast game Shenmue. The manga characters express disappointment and joke about the situation. They mention that the release date was initially set for March but got pushed back to April, and speculate that perhaps the delay is because the game is being made to compete with Sony games, or maybe they are thinking of making Shenmue 2 already. One character dramatically collapses in despair due to the delay, expressing their eagerness to play Shenmue. The overall tone is lighthearted and reflects the anticipation and slight frustration of fans regarding the Shenmue release date being moved. This page is an interview with manga artist Mine Yoshizaki about the release of the first volume of their manga, Sega's Games Are the Best in the World. Yoshizaki discusses the manga being a compilation of works from Saitama Magazine and Dreamaga, with new additions and explanations. They mention that the manga includes stories about the character Kazuko, described as a heel character. The page also details a signing event at Sega Freaks Akihabara on October 31st at 1 p.m. People who bring their Dreamcast console can also get it signed in addition to the manga. The password phrase for the event is, "Sega's game is," with the response, "the best in the world!" Furthermore, there's a Sega Family Figure Present campaign. These figures are being produced and sold to commemorate the manga release. 300 people who purchase Sega's games are the best in the world. Woo! Will receive a figure as a gift. The figure is planned for completion in mid-December and priced at 1,990 yen. Advance reservations are available at Sega Freaks. The figures are described as being from MFT Productions and come painted with a case. The next page is a column titled Black or Column by Fumio Kurokawa, discussing the latest delay of the highly anticipated Dreamcast title, Shenmue. The author notes this is the 4th delay for Shenmue, and users are disappointed, especially since playable versions weren't shown at the September game show. Sega's press release emphasizes Shenmue's ambition to create a living, interactive world, which is a significant development challenge. The article further elaborates on the game's scope, referencing the Project Berkeley codename and the concept of a living world within the game. It then transitions to the topic of NTT and the broadband internet situation in Japan, specifically mentioning last 1 mile and the high internet connection costs compared to America, indicating this is relevant to the Dreamcast's online capabilities. The author mentions NTT President Miyazu and Sony President Igide in this context, likely related to discussions about internet infrastructure and costs. A section titled Fumio Kurokawa Profile and Recent News provides a brief biography of the author, stating he was born in 1960, worked in music and film before joining Sega AM2, where he was involved in the VF series, and last year worked as a software publicity producer. Recent News mentions SoftBank's President Son and deregulation in the communications industry. The column concludes by stating it focuses on market analysis and invites reader feedback to be sent to the Dreamcast Magazine editorial department, addressed to Fumio Kurokawa. This page is an anime news section called Anime Check It. It features the new anime Magical Girl Tai, or Mahutsukai Tai, Volume 1, described as a refreshing youth story with a pleasant tempo and cute characters. The anime is set to be released on October 25th and was originally an OVA series from 2 years prior, now adapted for television. It is mentioned that watching the OVA version will enhance enjoyment but is not necessary. The page highlights character descriptions with voice actor information for characters like Saki Sawarano, Nako Natsume, Eriko Nakatomi, Ayano Gunji, and Takeo Takakura. The page also mentions the anime adaptations of 2 popular weekly Shonen Jump manga, One Piece and Hunter x Hunter. It notes these anime started broadcasting on Fuji Television in October. It mentions the shared theme of youth's dreams and adventures in these series. Finally, it talks about the theme song for Hunter x Hunter, Oheyo by Kino, and their single CD release on December 1st. This page highlights upcoming anime releases and TV broadcasts. It features several anime series slated for release on October 25th, including Volume 10 and 11 of Mobile Suit Gundam, Volume 5 of Duel Parallel Trouble Adventure, Volume 11 of Cardcaptor Sakura, Volume 4 of Jubei-chan, The Ninja Girl Lovely Eye Patch, Volume 3 of Tenamonia Voyagers titled Crazy Gambling, and Volume 3 of Kamui. Other anime releases mentioned are AD Police Action Point 4, Battle Athletes Victory Tracks 2123, and Volume 4 of Mamoru-kun ni Megami no Shukufuku wo. Volume 3 of Susaku, titled Oyachi's Pride, is also listed as releasing soon. The page also details Wild Arms TV, which is an anime adaptation of the popular PlayStation RPG series Wild Arms, broadcast weekly on WOWOW from October 18th. It's described as a sci-fi gun action story set in the desolate land of Filgaia, where the legendary ARMS user Cheyenne, who has been transformed into a child, unfolds his tale. Finally, Battle Game Special is an Animax special broadcast on weekends in October, featuring anime based on popular SNK fighting games, including Fatal Fury, Legend of the Hungry Wolf from 1992, and a total of 5 SNK anime works. It mentions that the voice actors for Terry Bogard and Joe Higashi in Fatal Fury, Legend of the Hungry Wolf, are the same voice actors from the game. This page seems to be a special feature section of the magazine, labeled M&G, and priced at 980 yen, released on October 29th. It opens with a playful apology, "Sorry, we did it again," followed by text reflecting on the large gathering at Space World 99, and mentions the popularity of the Game Boy Color and Nintendo 64 in Japan, contrasting it with the hype around the PlayStation 2. It suggests that Nintendo's dominance is stable and important for the 21st century. The feature includes several articles. PlayStation 2's World, likely discussing the new console. Arcade in My Life, probably about arcade gaming culture. Front Mission 3 Revival, focusing on the PlayStation title Front Mission 3. Game Opera and Fire Emblem, analyzing the Fire Emblem games. What Macross VFX 2 brought to us, discussing the PlayStation game Macross VFX 2. Adult Game Frontline, covering adult-oriented games. GM Recommend 20 recommended titles new and old, which is a list of game recommendations, and other popular series for ongoing articles in the magazine. The page includes a picture of Mario and a PlayStation 2 console, emphasizing the comparison between Nintendo and Sony's systems within the Dreamcast magazine. This page is a manga column by Izumi Takemoto, titled Iroiro de Gulsu. It starts with comic strip panels discussing recent news, including the bankruptcy of a famous game company and a Nekoman anthology also going bankrupt. The author mentions receiving Teleca and industry changes with NICE and ASCII. They are also working on a new Mac G3 computer, but are struggling to adapt to it from Windows due to its speed. The column introduces Click No Hi, a manga creation software for PC and PlayStation being released as part of the Click manga series. It's priced around 2,000 yen and described as surprisingly affordable. The PlayStation version is mentioned to have limited copies. Further panels discuss the author's work on 4-koma manga, character design, and color samples for Telegadget magazine. They jokingly mention feeling like they are playing games all day due to their work. Upcoming game releases are mentioned, including GB Wars and Torneco's Great Adventure 2. Alongside a TV game present scheduled for November and December. The author mentions their involvement in the Nekoman anthology and feeling very busy with manuscripts. Finally, it includes the address for sending fan letters to Izumi Takemoto. This page is dedicated to voice actress Omi Minami, featuring her profile and an article section titled Autumn Nights Are Full of Fun. Omi's profile highlights her birthday, birthplace, and various voice acting roles, notably in anime such as Martian Successor Nadesico, Evolution, Eternal Dungeons, and games like Kita-e. It mentions her current work in television anime like Shima Shima Tora no Shimajiro and Ojarumaru, and promotes upcoming autumn anime series including Sorceress Stabber Orphan 2 and Excel Saga. In the main article, Omi discusses her enjoyment of reading during autumn, particularly manga, focusing on the horror and mystery genres. She expresses her fondness for the manga Fukigen na Mononokean, which is being adapted into an anime, and she is involved in voice acting for it. She also mentions other manga and comic books she enjoys, such as Fushigi no Tatari-chan, Shinigami-kun, 9 Banmei no Musashi, and Akuma Shoujo Momo-chan, indicating that manga is her current reading preference. The page also includes a short humorous section titled Daily Life of Oma-chan seen by her beloved dog Buren, and a cartoon panel called Omi's Illustration Room, where she comments on her preference for horror manga one-shots during autumn. There is a call for readers to send in letters and questions to the magazine, with address details provided. Finally, an Omi's information section mentions manga by Kanako Inuki titled The Horror, published monthly by Kadokawa Shoten. This page is an advertisement for strategy guides, published by Dream Magazine Books. The first guide is for Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club, a Dreamcast game. It's a comprehensive guide promising to help players achieve results, covering player development, management advice, J-League data, and scouting. This guide is already on sale. The second guide is for Guru Guru Onsen, Spinning Hot Springs, a Dreamcast online communication game. This manual aims to teach players how to enjoy the game's online world, covering connection methods and chat tips, scheduled for release in November. This page is a Dreamcast Magazine reader survey page, asking for reader demographics and opinions. It includes instructions on how to fill out the questionnaire with numbers and black pen. There's a hardware list covering Dreamcast and its accessories like controllers and VMUs, as well as other consoles of the time including Saturn, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, PCFX, and even DVD players. A large list of Dreamcast software is also present, featuring a wide range of titles. The contents page highlights this week's articles, including news, data, and Dreamcast software reviews. Excitingly, there's an urgent report on Sakura Wars 3 and a special report featuring an interview with Yu Suzuki about Shenmue. Collaborations with various games are mentioned, like Virtual On Oratorio Tangram, Choo Choo Rocket, Aerodancing F, F1 World Grand Prix for Dreamcast, Berserk, Dokusei 2, Descrim 2, and Zombie Revenge. Also noted are serialized planning articles for Dream Maga and D2, a Reader's Corner, columns about the game industry and anime, and a strategy special for Saskatsuku 100-Year Plan. Finally, there is news about Dreamcast information and a Japan Pro Mahjong Federation license test notice. This page is a Dreamcast Magazine strategy special for the game Saskatsuku 100-Year Plan, which is Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club in English. It highlights strategy guides for the Dreamcast version of the game, advertising 1 million players, 1 million strategy methods. The page lists the contents covered in the strategy guide, including initial member setup, hometown analysis, best town selection, effective scouts, club development, strategy hints, and player battles. It also promotes last century striker Kawamoto Oniyuki, a player in the game, encouraging players to check his information. The page is essentially an advertisement for strategy guides to help players master Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club. This page is a strategy guide focusing on team building in Sega Worldwide Soccer Manager, known in Japan as Saskatsuku. It details 3 initial team types that appear randomly in the game and how to develop them over a year with equal training conditions. The guide highlights Type A and Type B team compositions, their strengths, and key players. It mentions rival clubs encountered in the game and provides recruitment criteria focusing on hometown, stadium, manager, supporter club budget, advertising costs, entrance fees, system formation, and tactics. It also covers player development staff and training schedules for player improvement. The guide concludes with final ranking results for both team types, showcasing different outcomes in the game. Screenshots of the game interface are included to illustrate team management and player stats. This page analyzes the Dreamcast game J-League Pro Soccer Club creation, focusing on team performance comparisons. The analysis highlights 2 team types, TYPEB and TYPEC. TYPEB emphasizes midfield control with potential 361 formations, featuring players like Nodera Kentaro and Hayashi Azora, finishing 7th after a year despite aiming for 5th. TYPEC, focusing on stamina and featuring Kujio Ryuki and Kurihara Tomoasa, placed 8th, with potential internal discord cited as a factor. Both teams rival TYPEA. The result analysis section discusses the importance of a balanced hexagonal system and club compatibility, impacting results. The development team considers TYPEA strong in this trial and prioritizes long-term club development for both novice and experienced Saskatsuku players. Screenshots and development advice are also included. This guide aids players in selecting a hometown for the soccer management sim Saskatsuku 100-Year Dream, focusing on 7 criteria: land prices, rainfall, temperature, transportation, soccer popularity, population, and rent. High and low-level Japanese locations are provided for each category, like Yokohama's high land prices or Hokkaido's low temperatures. The guide recommends 3 top choices: Yokohama, strongest overall but expensive at 1 billion yen; Osaka, slightly less desirable, land price 880 million yen; and Itabashi Ward in Tokyo, cost-effective, 330 million yen, good transports population. Yokohama F. Marinos and Cerezo Osaka are mentioned. Itabashi, a hidden gem, is deemed a great value. Players are advised to weigh these factors carefully when making their decision. This page analyzes the scouting system in J-League Pro Soccer Club O Sukuru. The core focus is evaluating the effectiveness of 10 starting scouts and optimizing their usage to discover talented players within a year. The page goes beyond simple ratings to reveal the scouts' true abilities. It profiles scouts like Inukai Shoichiro and Arandes, detailing their performance in domestic and international recruitment and their areas of expertise within the J-League. The text offers team management advice, prioritizing midfielders, player development, and foreign forwards, while stressing financial management and stadium expansion. Finally, the page provides scouting strategy tips, suggesting either focusing on a few highly skilled players or mass scouting for hidden talent. It recommends prioritizing domestic scouts initially, such as Inukai and Otita, and then expanding to overseas scouts like Arandes and Romeros, as the club's financial situation allows. The next page is a guide for Saskatsuku 100-Year Dream Club Manager, known internationally as Sega Professional Soccer Club, European Championship, or Sega Worldwide Soccer Manager, focusing on clubhouse facilities. It's a strategy guide for efficiently developing your team by strategically upgrading your clubhouse. The page explains that facility upgrades require funds and increase monthly maintenance costs but are crucial for player development. It asks, which facilities should you upgrade first? The guide recommends starting with Speed Gym or Power Gym, as they are effective for boosting player abilities early in the game, particularly physical stats like stamina. After that, upgrading the clubhouse itself and the pool facility to improve stamina is suggested. The page then details various clubhouse facilities in table format, listing their level, installation cost, monthly maintenance cost, required block size, and effect. These facilities include lounge, reduces player and coach dissatisfaction; massage room, reduces fatigue accumulation rate; pool, increases stamina development rate from training; medical room, reduces injury occurrence and speeds up player recovery; power gym, increases kick power and fighting spirit from training; tactics room, increases tactical and system understanding from training; buffet, reduces fatigue accumulation rate and increases stamina development; sauna, reduces fatigue accumulation rate; data analysis room, improves understanding of positions, tactics, and systems; recreation room, improves player condition and reduces player dissatisfaction during training. The page suggests prioritizing facilities that enhance basic abilities like stamina and physical stats early in the game to build a strong foundation. The next page is a feature focusing on Let's Make a J-League Pro Soccer Club from the Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru, or Sakatsuku series, investigating the effectiveness of building facilities within the game. It compares the impact of having a power gym and a data analysis room versus not having them in a controlled experiment within the game. The article details a half-year training regime tested with and without these facilities, showing screenshots of the team's overall ability radar charts, both before and after training. It suggests that while the power gym provides a slight boost to stamina, the data analysis room has a more noticeable effect on improving the team's overall system and tactical understanding. The page concludes by discussing the broader implications of investing in club facilities, emphasizing their role in developing younger players and strengthening the team for the long term. It also includes smaller sections posing questions about in-game decisions, such as building a natural park in the hometown, gaining sponsors, or upgrading the hometown, framing them as good or bad choices, with brief explanations of their effects on the game. This page is about stadium facilities in J-League Club Championship 100-Year Dream, also known as Sakatsuku. It explains how stadium facilities enhance the game by attracting supporters and generating income. The page details various facility types, including ramen shops, coffee shops, fast food outlets, restaurants, goods shops, ice cream shops, amusement facilities, relaxation rooms, report rooms, parking lots, and roofs. For each facility, it lists the installation cost, monthly maintenance cost, and the required number of blocks at different levels. The page mentions that profits from food and goods facilities are related to home game attendance. A section highlights downloadable data for Sakatsuku from the official homepage, mentioning special player data distributed at the Tokyo Game Show. Lastly, a practice screen is shown, displaying a football match setup and player information for Sakatsuku. This page is a strategy guide for Sega Worldwide Soccer Manager 2, known in Japan as J-League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru. 3. The guide details how sponsors can help reduce facility upgrade costs. For example, upgrading a Level 1 coffee shop normally costs $88.32 million, but with a coffee chain sponsor, it's reduced to $79.49 million. Similar savings are shown for roof installations and fast food stores with relevant sponsors. The page also discusses player dissatisfaction and how to handle it. It suggests options like individual training or having conversations with players. Ultimately, the guide addresses the question of whether to transfer a dissatisfied player, weighing the pros and cons as the owner's decision. Finally, the page announces the start of network tournaments for the game, listing upcoming events like the first and second Sega Cup, Go Reds Tournament, and Daily Sports Tournament, with dates from October to November. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game Sakatsuku, Let's Make a J-League Soccer Club, officially localized as J-League Club Championship. It's presented as advice for newcomers to the game, focusing on building a strong club from scratch. The article begins with a player expressing their initial confusion about how to progress in Saskatsuku DC version and seeking guidance on club management. It then showcases the initial club state, detailing the default team setup using a 442 formation and emphasizing the need for club strengthening. The guide highlights the importance of recruiting talented players, mentioning the use of scouts to find defensive free agents to bolster the squad. A grade ranking section displays a list of in-game teams and players with their performance ratings, suggesting a competitive landscape. A key strategy discussed is training by neglecting matches in the first year. This approach prioritizes intensive team training to build player stamina and power, rather than focusing on match results. The article shows a match results screen as an example of this strategy, where the team finishes 11th in the J2 League in their first year, indicating a focus on long-term development over immediate success. The advice concludes by suggesting that continuous team training is crucial for long-term club growth in Sakatsuku. This guide for Let's Make a J-League Pro Soccer Club emphasizes observing in-game matches to evaluate player performance and team chemistry. Managing player fatigue is crucial. Actively monitoring training and adjusting rest, even overriding coach instructions, is recommended to prevent injuries and achieve promotion. Rewarding players with competitive salaries is essential, as losing key players due to low wages is a greater detriment than overspending. Ignoring interpersonal player conflicts is advised. Utilize the meeting room feature to address player dissatisfaction and maintain morale. Progression involves securing sponsorships, recruiting impactful foreign players, and upgrading facilities. While year the second of may lead to J1 promotion, Year 3 presents a challenging nightmare due to the quality gap and the decline in supporter numbers. The guide suggests the game is designed to push you towards promotion, making it difficult to intentionally lose to stay in J2 for financial gain. This page details a player's 5-year journey in the Dreamcast game J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru, focusing on strategies and challenges. Year 4 involved a small number of players and do-it-right approach, emphasizing a smaller, elite squad and stadium expansion for consistent revenue. The player secured a league victory by maximizing stadium capacity and reinvesting profits. The player also addressed player dissatisfaction through individual training, using heading training to transform one player into a specialist. Strong player acquisition focused on acquiring defenders, like from the Antlers and Vissel teams, to overcome team weaknesses. Year 5, however, saw the team relegated to J2. Replacing existing goalkeepers with a world-class Nigerian GK backfired, leading to poor performance and losses. The team's ranking plummeted despite roster improvements, highlighting the challenge of prioritizing player development over immediate match results and the importance of overall team balance. The player is determined to rebuild from J2. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast game J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru, also known internationally as J-League Club Championship. It details gameplay experiences across years 5 and 6 of a playthrough. Year 5 focused on a zone press tactic that ultimately failed, leading to team weakness despite securing a major sponsor and initially performing well. Scouting and central training proved challenging. Year 6 saw a shift to formation adjustments, player role changes, and the revival of a 442 formation. Key players like Ibid and O'Hara are highlighted. Despite winning the first stage and being runner-up in the second, the team struggled in cup competitions. The page also warns about sponsor conditions tied to tournament performance, emphasizing potential financial risks. Furthermore, it discusses the surprising merits of relegation, suggesting it can be strategically beneficial for long-term financial gain, despite initial drawbacks like reduced TV viewership and supporter numbers. Year 6 was also plagued with troubles like poor sponsors, player dissatisfaction, and even player injuries. But despite these challenges, the team managed to achieve promotion back to J1 and win the league. This guide details the 7th and 8th years of a Saskatsuku 100-year plan gameplay experience. Year 7 focuses on contract renewals, new signings, including edit players and a Spanish coach, and heading training. They won both championship stages and sent a goalkeeper abroad for training. The Superplay section advises maximizing player potential and releasing underperformers. Year 8 shifts focus to global success and developing explosive power. They won the World Challenge Cup. Player transfers continue, with some players retiring. A major training policy change to individual skill training drastically improved player growth. Despite this, they finished 12th overall, attributing it to a lack of pre-match adjustments, but remain optimistic for the next season. This article details a 9-year playthrough of a soccer club management game. The player used financial resources to build a successful team, experiencing early dominance that peaked before facing challenges of player aging and talent acquisition. The club faced financial constraints from sponsor changes and stadium maintenance costs, hindering stadium upgrades. Despite managing the U22 and U23 Japan national teams, which impacted club development, the team overcame obstacles, including qualifying for a World Sports Festival. In the final stages, the player acquired key players and strategically shifted player positions and training, improving team cohesion. The club's defense strengthened, and the team's performance improved, aiming for a J1 League victory in a few years. The article includes screenshots of the game, providing visual context. This page is dedicated to Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club, also known as Saskatsuku. It reports on a talk event held on October 3rd, where strategy hints for the game were revealed. The page details an editing lecture by Hideo Baba and Hayashi Ko, which was apparently very popular. Producer Kawago is featured sharing strategy advice, emphasizing scouting young players with potential, focusing on player development, and strategic gameplay during matches. Screenshots from the game illustrate these points. A section discusses the introduction of a fifth beautiful secretary in the game, appearing after the initial 4 secretaries have retired. A profile of one of these secretaries, Sayaka Shinohara, is presented, giving details like her age, birthday, measurements, and preferences. Finally, there's an advertisement for the J-League Pro Soccer Club. Make Winners Bibles, a strategy guidebook for Let's Make a J-League Pro Soccer Club, promoting it as a bestseller. The advert provides the book's price and publisher information. This page showcases 2 games. The first game highlighted is Japan Professional Mahjong League Certified Tetsuman License Master, a mahjong title featuring 16 pro players where you aim to win tournaments and earn licenses. The game emphasizes realistic gameplay and challenging opponents. The second game is Golf Shiyu Yo, known as Let's Golf internationally, a golf game described as the first full-fledged golf game on the Dreamcast. It highlights the realistic graphics and gameplay, mentioning that the title was changed due to various circumstances, but the release is still on schedule. The page shows gameplay screenshots and scorecards. The page also contains a content list featuring upcoming Dreamcast games with page numbers, including titles like Climax Landers, Professional Baseball Team, Wotsukuru, ESPIONAGENTS, Marionette Company, and Cool Borders, BURRRR. This page is a game preview for the adventure title Revive Rebirth. The game's prologue sets the scene in a research facility where the protagonist is investigating his missing sister, Kisumi, following a mysterious letter. The story hints at a research facility incident and experiments related to Kisumi. Gameplay revolves around using 3 basic commands: talk to communicate with characters, item to use found objects, and direct search/reaction for interacting with the environment to find items and trigger responses by clicking on the screen. Movement allows players to navigate different areas of the research facility. The setting is the Ocean Development Promotion Research Institute, a large corporation that has downsized and now only uses this research building. Rumors suggest secret research is being conducted in the basement. The screenshots show in-game scenes demonstrating the interface and character interactions. It seems this game was not released outside of Japan. This page highlights the adventure game Revive, Soshite Futuride, where players explore a research facility as heroines who have become trapped. The aim is to escape by solving puzzles and utilizing items found within the environment. The game is described as a trap adventure and is set for release on October 28th. Featured characters include Ogawa Kibana, voiced by Yuki Mayumi, who is 17 years old with a birthday on July 6th and blood type A. She enjoys cooking and belongs to the Crafts Club. Mizutani Nanagi, voiced by Izuka Mayumi, also 17, with a birthday on May 18th and blood type O. She is part of the basketball club and considered the team's mood maker. Finally, Toka Yumi, voiced by Danka Miyako, aged 16, with a birthday on November 21st and blood type B. Her hobbies include reading, and she is described as a calm and collected character with good grades. Gameplay mechanics are detailed, focusing on traps in the research facility, which require item usage and puzzle solving to progress. Key elements include using card keys to open doors, finding unexpected items to overcome obstacles, time-limited events that impact the main character's survival, and critical decision points that determine life or death scenarios. The game package includes a data disc, is priced at 6,800 yen, and comes with a mini-drama CD and memorial telephone card application ticket. This page previews a Dreamcast game where player choices greatly influence the story and outcome. It highlights a game mechanic called TDS, or Trap Decipher Story, where using items to solve situations leads to different story branches. The page illustrates this with an example scenario: encountering an injured girl named Yutsuki after she falls downstairs. The player is presented with choices of how to help her based on available items. Using a bandage leads to great success, using a wet towel leads to success, and doing nothing leads to failure, showcasing how item usage impacts event outcomes. The game also features story changes depending on location and dialogue choices. Choosing to go to the lobby to meet Nao or going down the stairs to meet Yutsuki are presented as location-based story branches. Similarly, dialogue choices affect character relationships and story progression. Acting together with characters is emphasized as a way to build relationships and influence the ending. Finally, the page introduces two male characters: Hokujo Shu, a 70-year-old researcher looking for his missing child, and Kamida Takumi, a popular 28-year-old researcher with a mysterious past. This page previews the adventure game Revive Sosei. It highlights that the game's ending changes based on player choices and relationships with characters. The page introduces three main female characters. Takano Raiko, voiced by Namoto Keiko. She is a 24-year-old with a serious personality and a complex past, researching dolphin communication. Sugihara Misa, voiced by Nagashima Yuko. She is a 21-year-old Kyoto native working at the research facility reception, described as airheaded and cheerful. Kitajo Chihiro, voiced by Minami Omi, a 13-year-old girl who likes drawing and is withdrawn, with secrets regarding her family and the research institute. The article outlines different ending types: affection ending, gold ending, and truth ending, linked to deepening relationships and solving mysteries. It also raises questions about the game's plot, such as who sent a letter to Nozomi, whether Nozomi's mother is alive, why the shutter closed, and why the vice director died. The bottom of the page promotes the Revive Sosei Perfect Guide, scheduled for release on October 28th. This page showcases the latest Dreamcast Magazine issue 24, dated 11/26, priced at 720 yen, and emphasizes it's a special expanded edition. The main highlight is the inclusion of playable demo discs featuring several games. The games spotlighted include Evolution 2, Far Off Promise, described as the return of a famous title; Vermilion Desert, emphasized as a real battlefield experience with tension and excitement; Death Crimson 2, Terra Conqueror, presented with the tagline, Prehistoric Era, Battle Site Revival; Millennium Falcon Arc, chapter of the Holy Demon War, based on the popular manga, highlighting the original comic's power on Dreamcast; Juomaru Gakishin, with the phrase, "This exhilarating feeling is impossible unless you experience it." The golf game, with the text, "Play all 3 holes." The page promotes the magazine as offering a complete experience of these titles, allowing players to sample them before release. This page is focused on Street Fighter II W Impact for the Dreamcast. It's highlighted as a highly strategic fighting game, and mentions that both the first and second iterations of Street Fighter II are being ported to the Dreamcast. The page reveals new original elements, exclusive to the Dreamcast version. The text describes the game as being 80% complete, and scheduled for release by Capcom on December 16th, priced at 6,800 yen. It supports 12 players and arcade stick controllers. The developer message emphasizes the game's high quality as a 2D fighting game and volume, suggesting it contains content equal to 2 full games. Screenshots showcase gameplay with characters Alex vs. Dudley and Ibuki vs. Necro. There are also images of the game's title select screen, character select screen featuring Ken, and super art selection. The bottom of the page emphasizes original Dreamcast elements and hints at further information about SNK vs. Capcom. This page is focused on the Dreamcast version of Street Fighter II Second Impact, detailing the added modes for the home console release. It highlights Versus mode for player battles, Blocking Attack mode, which is a minigame centered around the game's blocking mechanic, Training mode for practicing moves and combos, and Option mode for customizing game settings. The page also explains the basic controls, noting it uses the standard 8-way directional pad and 6-button layout common in Capcom fighting games, also used in Street Fighter II-I. The initial button configuration is displayed, showing the face buttons and triggers assigned to weak, medium, and strong punches and kicks. Furthermore, it describes some series-specific techniques that are the same as the arcade version, such as the leaf attack, quick standing, high jump, and grapple defense. Outlining the button inputs and effects of these special moves, the screenshots showcase the title select screen, displaying both Street Fighter II-I, Second Impact, and Street Fighter II-I, New Generation discs, suggesting it's a compilation of both games, likely the Street Fighter II-I Double Impact release, which was indeed launched internationally. A character select screen and a gameplay shot of Hugo in action are also shown. This page is all about the upcoming SNK vs. Capcom fighting game for Dreamcast, which was a tentative title at the time. It's exciting news because Capcom and SNK are teaming up for a 2D fighting game, a dream match for fans. The page details newly announced characters for both sides. From Capcom, we're getting Ken, Blanka, and Zangief, joining the already announced Ryu, Chun-Li, and Guile. On the SNK side, Terry Bogard, Raiden, and Benimaru Nikaido are joining Kyo Kusanagi, Iori Yagami, and Mai Shiranui. Raiden being included is interesting, perhaps he's meant to be a rival for Zangief. It also mentions that Blanka and Benimaru Nikaido have an electric connection, hinting at character relationships. There are also details about game modes, including a blocking attack mode, where you can earn bonus points by blocking attacks in CPU battles, and a screen adjust option in the options menu, which lets you adjust the visual effects when performing super arts. It seems like you can choose whether you want the background to change color and scroll when you unleash a super art. Screenshots showcase gameplay and the training mode menu. The training mode seems to have standard options like action recording, guard settings, speed control, and character change. This page promotes the Dreamcast game Super Producers, a music industry simulation where you become a producer to raise singers. The game boasts network compatibility, allowing players to connect online using the Dream Passport and engage in World Audition mode to scout for singers. You can learn about singers' histories, scout them, negotiate contracts, and even release your trained singers into the network for others to discover. The page mentions the game was 100% complete, with a release date of November 11th and a price of 6,800 yen. It is highlighted as a network-compatible simulation game and VGA compatible. The text also explains how to get an ID and password from the Hudson website to access the online features. Screenshots display in-game menus and character art. The next page introduces online network features focused on singer debut and competition. It details the world debut and network debut options, where players can become singers online, aiming for the top of the hit charts. The page mentions that player rankings are determined by the number of years since their debut. There are sections describing the world chart and session modes. The world chart is a real-time hit chart competition, updated daily, weekly, and monthly. The session mode allows players to collaborate, with hosts and guests participating together, seemingly for in-game rewards. The page also highlights an information section, which provides details about menu options, rewards for releasing songs, being scouted as a singer, ranking on the world chart, and other personal information like network connection counts. The special ranking chart lists a number of songs and artists, providing a glimpse of the in-game music and possible playable tracks and characters. Some of the listed artists include Shinpei Okano, Andore Baba, Chinatsu Tanida, Susumu Ikeda, Shiho Ken Ouchi, and Firebomber. These names suggest a music or rhythm game, where players likely compete based on song performance and ranking. This page announces the upcoming Dreamcast game Metal Armor Dragonar, based on the popular anime series. Developed by Sunrise Interactive and set to release on December 2nd for 6,800 yen, this game is described as a versus RPG with 2-player versus modes and Rumble Pack compatibility. The article mentions that the game was chosen for development based on a popularity poll on the Sunrise Heroes Gumikyo official website. The page details Dragunar 1 XD01, a machine developed by the enemy nation Giganos and acquired by the Earth Federation forces, highlighting its strong combat abilities. The story section summarizes the anime's premise, set in Western Standard Year 2087, where the unified nation of the moon, Giganos, invades Earth. 3 young men, Keen, Tap, and Light, find themselves piloting Dragunar weapons, thrust into the heart of the conflict. The character Keen Wakaba is also introduced as a pilot of Dragooner 1, having fallen from the elite Astrolo Arts Academy. This page is a feature on the Aura Battler Zuwawas from the OVA series Aura Battler Dunbine, part of the Sunrise Robot of CG World Chronicle Returns Volume 02. The article describes the Zuwawas as a powerful Aura Battler developed based on the Zworth, boasting a high aura coefficient and exceptional combat abilities. It is piloted by Lafun Zaramond, who is the reincarnation of Burning. Key characteristics highlighted are its demonic appearance, large aura converter, wings, and long tail. The article also details the aura converter system used in all aura battlers, which converts ambient aura into energy for power and maneuverability. A data section provides technical specifications for the Zuwawas, including its height of 13 meters, weapons like the Aura Sword and Kagizume, and a note that its weight is unknown, but that 1 meter equates to approximately 1 lufton, although further details are not specified. A website address for otsai.co.jp is also included. This page is about the Dreamcast racing game Speed Devils. It highlights the game's concept of street racing, where you earn money by driving skills and customize your car. The game is described as having no rules other than winning. The page mentions that the fastest legend starts from a used car and introduces a character called Bedeker, who seems to be involved in acquiring cars. The game received a 95% score in terms of completion at the time of this preview. It is stated to be released by UBI Soft on November 18th. Priced at 5,800 yen, and supports VM units, racing controllers, vibration packs, VGA output, and 12 players. The page also explains 9 different icons in the game. These icons represent actions such as participating in races, accepting challenges from other drivers, repairing damaged cars, using nitro, saving game progress, buying option parts for cars, viewing the race schedule, going to the car dealer, and obtaining trophies. The Bedeker and garage mechanics are mentioned as key elements for progressing through the game and becoming the fastest street king. The next page details the championship mode for a racing game, focusing on public road races. It outlines the progression from Class D upwards, starting with basic cars in Class D races. Players participate in races to earn prize money, which can be used in the garage to repair and upgrade their cars for subsequent races. Rivals will issue challenges, and winning these and other races is crucial to accumulate driver points. Accumulating enough driver points allows players to advance to Class CC. The page introduces 4 Class D rivals: Luigi Montezimo, a pizza shop owner; Ms. Penny G. Parker, described as a rational actress; Jack E. Brown, a private detective; and Alfonso Cabrero, a Hollywood stuntman. The next page is an advertisement for a Dreamcast horse racing prediction software. This software boasts a 70% accuracy rate and a 250% return rate using a large amount of data. The software analyzes 10 years of JRA races, around 33,000 races in total, and 15 years of JRA grade races, about 1,500 races. It also includes data on 40,000 racehorses, 600 jockeys, 600 trainers, and 1,600 stallions, along with pedigree information. The software allows users to download race data and customize predictions based on their own perspectives. It is priced at 2,800 yen, requires a VM, and is available from Shangri-La, and was released on October 21st. A monthly usage fee of 1,500 yen is required after the initial 2 weeks free trial. The software connects to the internet for the latest information and allows for parameter adjustments for personalized predictions. The next page presents information about a horse racing game on Dreamcast called Dream Jockey 99 Internet, possibly part of the Derby Owners Club series. It emphasizes the game's online capabilities, allowing players to download the latest race data from the JRA website to make informed predictions. The game includes a beginner's room to help newcomers understand horse racing and a horse racing dictionary for in-depth knowledge. Players can simulate races, adjust various parameters like horse abilities and odds, and enjoy races from multiple camera angles. The page highlights the need for a visual memory to save downloaded race data and mentions a monthly subscription fee for accessing the online service. The focus is on using the internet to enhance the game's realism and prediction accuracy, offering a deep horse racing experience. This page is a guide to enjoying the VM minigames in Climax Landers. It highlights that even after finishing the main game, there are 6 VM-compatible minigames to play. These minigames offer character development and item collection. Some minigames are obtained in packages of 2 or 3 and are bought at in-game shops, except for one called Nanwaka Legend, which is only available after clearing the last dungeon in the main game. The guide explains Taparai de Shokunai, which seems to be a method or skill related to monster training and efficiency in the minigames, mentioning that different jobs offer different rewards and penalties, and choosing a job suited to the monster is important. It also discusses how a monster's blood type affects its personality and working style, with different blood types described and their characteristics listed. The page also includes a professional reward and penalty list, and a monster family job suitability list, detailing which jobs are best for different monster types and blood types. It is mentioned that minigames with S in their name are special, as VM items from these games will not disappear after downloading, and Great Game S allows downloading of all games. This page is focused on the game Nanwaka Legend, a large-scale RPG for the VM Dreamcast. The page features a world map of the game, a town route guide with numbered locations and descriptions of what to do in each place. It mentions locations like Radio Wave Pagoda, Cliff Cave, Suzuki Village, and Mamemiko Town, and events like acquiring items or meeting designers. There's also a section about mapping in your head, encouraging players to memorize the map due to the VM's screen limitations. The page also includes a monster encyclopedia, with data on various monsters including stats such as LV, HP, MP, attack, defense, agility, experience, money, and attributes for monsters like Zhuen, Porin, Wulchan, Poyonko, Shirohebe, Monjiru, Narasubini, Dorodoran, Tamabachi, Puchidebi, Yamazu, Starboy, Daegu, and Henten Subo. Finally, there are speech bubbles, with character dialogue discussing monster analysis and strategy within the game. This page is a strategy guide focusing on in-game events and monster data for the Dreamcast RPG Grandia 2. The page details several event walkthroughs, starting with obtaining the mobile phone in Rajian City, involving defeating monsters around the city and speaking to Galko at the Schiefer pub in Schiefer Village, and finally heading to Kurai Cave. Another event is for acquiring Ogawa clothes in Suzuki Village at Obishi Tower, mentioning speaking to a designer named Ogawa on the top floor of the tower after returning Keitai to Marco. The radio repair event in Flaming Volcano Minky's Cave directs players to speak to the Queen in Mamakomi Castle to repair the radio, suggesting Minky Islands and Minky's Cave as locations for repair, involving obtaining radio first. The Shime event in Kamon Cave Kabuki Town guides players to get Shime from Kamon Cave, located southwest of Kabuki Town, mentioning a complex cave structure and using return after obtaining it due to strong monsters. Another section talks about the Tawazu Tower Kabuki Town event, about finding a runaway princess, directing players to Tawazu Tower west of Kabuki Town, and mentioning that the princess, Komachi, is on the top floor but will run away immediately. Finally, the page features a monster encyclopedia showcasing various monsters with their stats, including monsters like Game Otoko, Blockman, Bonbonma, Hangman, and many others, listing their level, HP, MP, attack, defense, agility, experience, money, and elemental attributes. This page appears to be an item guide section from a Dreamcast magazine, offering advice on equipment for role-playing games. The guide emphasizes acquiring strong equipment and managing items effectively. It advises players to save money for good weapons and armor, noting that dying in battle will cost half your funds, therefore saving often is crucial. The guide highlights that items possess various effects, and players should use the provided list to purchase useful items efficiently and adjust their equipment according to their location in the game. It also suggests selling off weaker items to save money and inventory space. A section focuses on magic items, recommending the wise use of MP and suggesting the Flame Amulet, which replicates the fire magic effect without consuming MP, available for purchase in Suzuki Village. The page features a list of items, including recovery items like Herb of Return, which restores 20 HP for 15 yen, and weapons such as Wooden Sword with attack power plus 5 for 50 yen, and armor like Cloth Clothes, with defense power plus 4 for 40 yen. These items have parameters, values, and notes on their effects or availability. Cartoon panels are included with characters and speech bubbles, discussing the game's world and situations. Finally, there's a section showcasing stats for various monsters, such as Madushi, Puchikuin, Debiru, and many others, each with their level, HP, MP, attack, defense, agility, experience points, money, and elemental attributes. This page is a game guide for Tsuyoki's IV, a 3D dungeon RPG. The guide provides tips on how to progress through the game, specifically aiming for the deepest level, B99. It emphasizes strategic combat, suggesting players should use preemptive attacks and be mindful of enemy positions indicated by sound cues. The page highlights the importance of items, explaining that weapons have varying gauge recovery speeds, which impacts their usability, even if they have high attack power. It also mentions events that can occur when moving between floors, advising players to prepare for unexpected situations that might require discarding items. A significant portion of the page is dedicated to a monster encyclopedia, detailing various monsters found in the game. For each monster, there is information on their level, HP, score, attack, defense, and item drops. Examples of monsters include Slime, Mod Q, Wind Ghost, Egg Devil, Eggfoot, Parent Ghost, Gamer Alien, Maiden, Blockman, Rage Jellyfish, Dragon, Eyeball Knight, and Two-Tailed Princess. The guide notes there are a total of 32 monster types in the game, slightly fewer than in Naniwa Wanko Densetsu, another game. It states, monster data scores are experience values and contribute to tokens earned upon game over. This page offers gameplay advice, suggesting players prioritize acquiring good armor early in the game to gain an advantage in battles. It recommends efficient item usage within each floor of a dungeon, particularly emphasizing the importance of food items to maintain HP. The page advises players to adopt a defensive stance and wait for gauges to fill up before attacking, especially against aggressive monster encounters. It highlights that items resembling food in their names are indeed edible and useful for HP recovery, encouraging players to collect and utilize them. The table lists various protective gear items with parameters and descriptions, including items like cloth armor, leather armor, and iron armor that improve defense, and food items that restore HP. Below are details on several in-game monsters such as Rafuripusu, Domingo, Narasubiniru, Kuriyoi, Makigai, Mogukichi, Dokumonjiru, Guardian, Rezurai, Pisanpo, Ribingusoto, Worubisuto, Kuromuboru, and Madushi, each with their level, HP, attack, defense, items, and score values. On the right side, there is a featured manga panel titled Special Hero Manga, Space Sheriff Buketster, by Tamaki, 230 horsepower. This manga seems to be a humorous side feature rather than directly related to the game tips. The next page introduces Pro Yaku Team o Tsukuru, a sports simulation game for the Dreamcast released on August 5th for 5,800 yen. The focus is on scouting new players, both domestic and international, to strengthen your baseball team. The page provides a guide on understanding scout lists, explaining the different columns of data presented. Screenshots of gameplay are shown, illustrating scouting menus and character interactions. The game supports keyboard, VGA output, and communication features, and was released exclusively in Japan. This page is showing domestic and overseas scout lists for a baseball game, likely within a Dreamcast title. These lists detail player names alongside their age, salary, and scout period. They include discovery rates for pitchers and fielders, and a frequency rating. The lists are further broken down by domestic regions like Tohoku, Hokkaido, Kanto, and overseas locations, including Cuba, America, Dominica, and Puerto Rico, along with regions like Korea and Taiwan. There is also a Mars category and a total score. Following this are columns that seem to represent baseball skills or attributes, including pitch types and batting abilities, with ratings indicated by circles or dashes. This page appears to be providing in-depth scouting information for players within a baseball simulation game featured in Dreamcast Magazine. This page is about player conversion in a baseball management simulation game, most likely Pro Yaku Team o Tsukuru, also known as Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. It discusses the concept of taking existing players, specifically pitchers, and converting them to different positions to unlock their hidden potential. The page features sections detailing the conversion of pitcher Ken Miyamoto to second baseman and pitcher Koji Uehara to first baseman, showcasing their in-game stats before and after the position change. It highlights the potential benefits of this strategy. Furthermore, the page lists several real Japanese baseball players who are suggested as suitable candidates for position conversion, such as outfielder Ichiro, pitcher Saito, outfielder Shinjao, pitcher Kuwata, shortstop Ishii, pitcher Kuroki, and pitcher Kawakami. A section titled, There's more. Yakyu Tsukuro secret techniques. Hints at hidden gameplay mechanics in Pro Yakyu Team o Tsukuru, related to taking on the manager's perspective. Finally, a side column titled, As Expected, Summer is Fireflies and Ghosts, seems to discuss the summer season within the game, showing nighttime scenes with fireflies and potentially ghosts as a lighthearted element. This page is all about Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team. It offers 5 key tips for enjoying the game 10 times more, covering strategic team building, player development in the minors, strengthening defense, utilizing relief pitchers and left-handed batters, and emphasizing good manners in online network play. It also highlights the User's Choice Popular 9, showcasing a dream team voted for by players, including famous names like Diego, Murata Hiroji, Matsuzaka Daisuke as pitchers, O Sadaharu as first baseman, and manager Mori Shinichi. There's a section featuring designer Yoko Higashimukai, who talks about player selection and game development, mentioning her preference for Giants players. Finally, the page draws attention to the network features, promoting online tournaments, prizes like JTB travel coupons, and the community aspect of Let's Make a Pro Baseball Team on Dreamcast. It emphasizes the network battles as a major feature and encourages players to participate in tournaments and aim for prizes. This page is a strategy guide for the Dreamcast simulation game Espion Agents, which was exclusive to Japan. The guide focuses on the mission Mondstadt Castle and provides a detailed walkthrough to help players navigate and complete it. The mission objective is to infiltrate Mondstadt Castle and retrieve the Mondstadt image. The guide uses flowcharts and step-by-step instructions to direct players through the mission, emphasizing the importance of agent selection and careful navigation due to numerous traps and puzzles within the castle. Screenshots show gameplay and character art. The guide highlights that while there are no guards to combat, stealth and puzzle solving are crucial. The walkthrough details specific lever manipulations, agent assignments at different locations in the castle, and even offers hints for a faster completion by finding and deciphering dial number clues scattered within messages to bypass some of the puzzles. The guide also mentions obtaining the Mondstadt Castle blueprint to assist with the mission. This page is a strategy guide section focused on progressing in Clock Tower 2. It describes how to reach the duel room by manipulating levers in specific locations after moving a box in the F-box room from the Clock Tower 3F. It mentions operating levers L14 and F21 to reach PC4 on the 3rd floor of the duel room. The guide also details 2 approaches for the boss fight with the Count in the duel room, one involving using a chandelier trap by setting lever T7 to and another involving direct combat by not using the trap and positioning a combat agent in the 1st floor north kitchen. There's a section on unexpected events that reward Event AP for finding a mysterious small bottle in the west warehouse on the 1st floor and operating lever U in the inspection room on the 3rd floor. A table lists various levers and their effects in the game, detailing lever numbers, initial states, locations, and the consequences of their operation, such as opening secret rooms, triggering traps, and unlocking moving walls in different areas of the building. This guide for the Dreamcast game Marionette Company assists players in experiencing all in-game events and collecting all CGs. With over 100 events, the guide details trigger conditions, emphasizing the importance of raising Kizuna value, which unlocks events in the memory album. The guide includes 2 key tables: a complete event list outlining event specifics, duration, time, location, and trigger conditions based on factors like character modes and Kizuna levels, and an event item list detailing items obtainable during events and their associated events. Understanding event triggers and the sequential nature of some events is crucial. Event items, vital for raising Kizuna, are unique and non-disposable. Subcharacter strategies and continuous events are also highlighted, indicating a focus on character relationships and progression. This page is a schedule of in-game events for a Dreamcast game, likely a dating simulation, presented in a calendar format spanning from November to March. The schedule details various events, their occurrence periods, times, locations, and conditions needed to trigger them. Events range from romantic encounters like Couple 12 and Confession to everyday activities and seasonal events such as Valentine's Day in the hospital and flower purchase. The event conditions often involve character relationship meters, CM, and possibly hidden values, K value, with phrases like triangle love occurrence appearing frequently, suggesting a relationship mechanic within the game. Locations for events vary from home and school to public places like parks and beaches, typical of dating sim settings. The times of day are also specified, such as daytime, evening, and night, affecting event availability. It appears to be a detailed guide for players on how to experience different events within the game's relationship and life simulation aspects. This page reveals the results of the Dreamcast Magazine Cool Borders Burn Score Attack Competition. The top prize winner, Dreesan, received an original snowboard, scoring 29,372 points. Second place, Kujin et-san, won a trainer and sunglasses with 28,826 points. The third to sixth place winners received prizes like t-shirts and QUO cards, with scores ranging from 27,433 PTS to 25,184 PTS. The magazine staff personally delivered the original snowboard prize to the winner in Sendai, documenting their journey by train and showcasing the presentation of the prize at the winner's home. The page also details how to unlock hidden elements in Cool Borders Burn. To unlock the hidden hyperboard, players need to win first place in the Extra Super Pipe or Hidden Total courses. The hidden characters are called Tightsmen and come in two types, Tsuka and Akira. Tsuka is described as a programmer model from UEP, the game developer, and Akira is described as having a different physique with cat ears and a pretty tail. To unlock these Tightsmen, players must achieve first place in either trick or time modes across all courses, including Extra Super Pipe and hidden courses, while the character Gray is selectable. This strategy guide for Cool Borders focuses on achieving high scores in trick areas 1, 2, and 3. In Area 1, the guide recommends a Misty 720 and King Step combo, obstacle destruction, and strategic board positioning. Area 2 emphasizes wall riding, timely ollies, and speed maintenance, especially when cornering and breaking obstacles. Landing control after jumps is key. Area 3 focuses on trick timing and point maximization. Players should decelerate, turn early, and aim for Misty 1080s and special tricks. Timing is crucial, as mistimed tricks result in time loss. The guide also touches on the importance of character and board selection. Top players often use the pop board for faster trick execution, while others favor the Alpen AL3 for stability. This guide provides strategies for Cool Borders Burn on Dreamcast, focusing on maximizing scores in specific trick areas. Trick Area 3 emphasizes Misty 360 combos, while Area 4 involves navigating a straight section using obstacles and walls for ollie tricks. Area 5 details a cave section requiring signboard and rock destruction, recommending mystic tricks. The guide compares player strategies, highlighting wall riding techniques, and emphasizing the importance of ollie tricks and calculated lines. Tips are provided for players aiming for second place, favoring outer routes and long straight sections. Developer Dreesan highlights the social aspect of the game and emphasizes the need for persistent play. UEEP system Onuki expresses surprise and gratitude for the player's dedication. The guide concludes with a team photo celebrating the game's release. This page is focused on Golden Pro Wrestling, also known as Giant Graham. All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 internationally, highlighting GPW rules and gameplay strategies. The page discusses the dash mechanics in the game, specifically why the dash 25% up, 60% down setting is used. It explains that in pro wrestling, enduring opponents' attacks and counterattacking is crucial for the flow of the match, rather than just constantly attacking. The page suggests adjustments to gameplay like increasing joint techniques, using approach logic, and reducing down attack throws to enhance the game's strategic depth. It also showcases a wrestler match card featuring Maikozan Kiyoshi versus UWF System, OO, and details a special technique called Grigri, a tactic used in mid-match to gain an advantage by applying pressure to the opponent's chest to create openings for joint locks. The game is mentioned as being on sale, priced at 6,800 yen for Dreamcast, and supports 14 players locally and 2 players via online versus play. It was released on September 2nd. This page announces the Guru Guru Onsen Network competition for Dreamcast, sponsored by Tsumura Bath Products. The competition game is Napoleon. It details the first competition, called the Tsumura Bathcleanse CUP, taking place between October 28th and October 31st. Prizes include Japanese hot spring resort gifts, gift sets, and bath products. There are rules about participating from only one Dreamcast console and using registered VM data. The page also includes screenshots from the Napoleon game and describes Tsumura as a company focusing on natural health and bath products. A section also features an article titled O'Hara's Bathhouse Diary, which humorously discusses playing 7 Narabe in the preliminary competition and the desire for a Joker-free main competition. This page announces the Drillamag Cup tournament, starting on November 2nd and using the card game 7 Narabe. The page also promotes the Drillamag Bathing Association and invites players to become members and participate in events. Prizes for the tournament, part of the Tsumura Basklin CUP, include Basklin bath salts. Screenshots showcase online communication and player avatars, suggesting the use of Dreamcast online features. The deadline to apply for membership is October 25th. The next page is an article focused on Rent a Hero Returns, which is coming from Mega Drive to Dreamcast. It mentions this is the second official reader corner and is looking for reader submissions. There are screenshots of gameplay and game information boxes highlighting features like cartridge for Mega Drive, release date as September 20th, 1991, 8 mega battery backup, action RPG and action RPG genres, and Sega as the publisher for the Mega Drive version. For the Dreamcast version, it mentions release date and price as undecided, 3D action RPG, and one-player play. Reader submissions are featured in sections, including poems and jokes related to Rent a Hero. One section, titled Arikawa Karyu Classroom, features poems about autumn. Another section, titled Dajare no Osama, features jokes and puns. There's also a Help Wanted Rent a Hero section detailing player feedback and requests regarding gameplay, such as adjusting difficulty, weapon durability, and enemy AI. It also mentions job offerings in the game, like bodyguard and food delivery. Player comments and funny stories related to their gameplay experiences are also included. This page is all about Rent a Hero in the Love Diary section. It highlights an event in the game where Rent a Hero, patrolling the streets, rescues a lady from some punks, a classic hero move. This event was showcased at the Tokyo Game Show. It also talks about a point fortune-telling minigame from Rent a Hero No. 1, which is making an appearance in this section. Readers can contribute to this section, and if selected, their names will appear in the staff roll. There's a Godo point system, where readers can earn points for contributing to the magazine and redeem them for prizes, like Dreamcast Magazine straps and Rent a Hero clear files. Higher points can get you things like Mega Drive BGM mini discs, or even a special Rent a Hero jumper. For those unfamiliar, point fortune-telling is explained as a minigame similar to fortunes sold at old candy stores for 50 yen. But it's not really about fortune-telling. It's more about bizarre and forceful requests, which is popular with hardcore fans. The page also mentions the Mega Drive version of Rent a Hero, and how the initial thug encounter is the first mission when wearing the combat armor. It also promotes sending letters to the magazine for various sections, and gives the address for submissions. Games like Outrun and Afterburner are mentioned in relation to the music on the Mega Drive Prize minidisc. This page is an advertisement for the official strategy guide for the Dreamcast game BLACK/Matrix AD. The headline states, "To pursue love is not a sin." The advert details that the guidebook covers tactics and strategies in 2 steps, provides flowcharts for each chapter, clarifies weapon performance and potential, and reveals how to find all sub-characters. It also mentions the price is 1,300 yen plus tax, and the book is A5 size with 208 pages and is currently on sale. The right side of the page features a vertical list of words in both English and Japanese: human rights, hypocrisy, love, the weak, freedom, equality, and friendship, which might be themes explored in the game. This page is titled Neo Mi Cram School and acts as a guide or showcase for the Sega Neo Mi arcade platform. It prominently features the game Out Trigger, with a character named Naomi wielding a weapon. Alongside Out Trigger, Jumbo, Safari, and Toy Fighter are also showcased with screenshots of gameplay. Below, a table lists various NAOMI arcade games that are currently available as of October 22, 1999. Many of these games are noted as being ported or planned for release on the Dreamcast console, such as House of the Dead 2, Dynamite Baseball Naomi I, Power Stone, Crazy Taxi, Zombie Revenge, Virtua Striker 2, Ver.2000, F355 Challenge, Touch de Uno, Jumbo, Safari, Toy Fighter, and Outrigger. Other titles in the list include Airline Pilots, Giant Graham, All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 in Nippon Budokan, Ring Out X4, Denki Tenshi Taisen Shangri-La, Idol Janshi Tsuchipai 2i, Dynamite Baseball 99 tentative title, Dead or Alive 2, Sagate Trith, Derby Owners Club, Bubu Bururu Da, Air Ice, featuring Elena System, Spawn in the Demon's Hand, Typing of the Dead, Samba de Amigo, SNK vs. Capcom, tentative title, and Boat Race Ocean Heats. The notes section of the table frequently mentions DC porting and expected release dates for the Dreamcast versions. Outrigger Skills for Dreamcast features a significantly expanded one-player mode. The final version includes training courses, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. The training mode offers 6 exercises. These focus on reaction shooting, moving body shooting, stealth techniques, and combat scenarios. The exercises utilize varied maps like a lecture hall, a building with narrow windows, and an old castle to hone skills. Players practice shooting terrorists, using radar, and mastering movement, including jumping and jump shots. The goal is to improve reaction time, stealth, and combat proficiency, while collecting timer items to extend gameplay. Screenshots showcase the training mode and character art. This Outrigger Beginner's course guides new players through 6 increasingly difficult exercises. Players start with sudden rush training, learning to eliminate enemies on simple maps like OBSERVURITY and Quiet Station, utilizing rocket launchers and strategic use of obstacles. Close combat training introduces item weapons in Colosseum, and later challenges players with power-ups in Asian Ruin and radar use in Library. The final exercise, Beginner Course Final Training, emphasizes superior positioning and rocket launcher use in Old Castle. The IP mode scoring system awards points for enemy kills and item collection, with rankings from E to S and bonuses for speed and combos. Gameplay tips include warming up, using item weapons, mastering the radar, and utilizing the terrain for strategic advantage. This Outrigger Intermediate Training Guide provides 6 exercises to prepare players for combat. Players will face terrorists in various scenarios, including close-range combat in Quiet Station and Asian Ruins, team battles, and night combat. Exercises emphasize evasion, strategic use of night vision, and understanding enemy AI. The final exercise is a deathmatch against other trainees. Key items are crucial for success, and high scores in 1P mode. Power-ups for increased attack, ammo for rockets, first aid kits for health, armor for defense, timers for bonus points, and night vision for enhanced visibility. Again, the guide stresses strategic item collection and understanding enemy behavior to master the game. This page focuses on advanced course training for the Dreamcast game Outrigger. It details 6 exercises across different levels and maps, including Kolos Eum, Busysstation, Asian Ruins, Libra Rai, and Old Castle. The exercises cover team battles, close combat, and general combat training against terrorists, emphasizing strategic gameplay. Tips highlight being careful of friendly fire from weapon pickups, avoiding self-destruction in tight spaces, using terrain for cover, and exploiting openings when fighting boss characters, specifically after they jump. The Skill Squad Leader's Diary mentions the final location testing for Outrigger and anticipation for the arcade version and 1P mode. It also notes a Master Up Memorial Gift, an Outrigger t-shirt presents, from Sega Soft 2 Research. A Present Corner section gives details on how to apply for Outrigger t-shirt gifts, with a deadline of October 30th. This page is a guide for the Dreamcast game Jumbo Safari, a drive-action game where you catch animals. The guide is titled, Chapter 1, Catch Animals This Way. It explains basic gameplay mechanics, instructing players on how to use a jeep and a lever to throw a rope to catch animals. The page details a 3-step process. First, approach an animal until a circular cursor appears. Then use the lever to throw the rope within the cursor and secure the animal. Finally, once the animal is close, a net capture screen appears, and you use the lever again to throw the net and capture the animal. The guide emphasizes the importance of lever operation, and using the cross cursor effectively within the circular cursor. Screenshots show in-game action, interface elements like ranger points and time, and different stages of animal capture. The page highlights that this is a lesson on basic operations and animal capturing techniques for Jambo Safari. This page provides essential secret information for the Dreamcast game Jambo Safari. Focusing on gameplay tips, it explains that animals have ranks indicated by stars seen through binoculars, with fewer stars meaning easier to catch. The radar in the lower right helps locate new animals, highlighted yellow when new. Animal expressions show their condition. For example, angry animals are harder to catch, while tired ones are weaker. The page details Jeep controls like dash and turns, and introduces advanced techniques. The Jambo handle for quick steering away from animals, and Jambo timing, which involves pulling the lever when the rope hits the animal for successful capture. This page reveals character move lists for the fighting game Toy Fighter. It features two characters, Gushiken and Ruse. Gushiken is described as a balanced, all-around fighter who excels at aerial combos and throws. His move list includes standard command moves like Command Knuckle, Command Upper, Command Blade, and special moves like Crossfire, Sonic Boom, and Phantom Killer. Notes indicate moves have properties like launching opponents, being unblockable, or being special counters. Rue is described as a tricky character, with many special throws and tricky movements, although he lacks strong launching attacks making air combos difficult. His move list includes moves like Earth Cutter combo, Rolling Savant, Poison Snake combo, and various snake-themed attacks. Some move notes mention hit floats, unblockable properties, guard breaks, and point-scoring mechanics. The page highlights that this is part 1 of a character move reveal, and is from Dreamcast Magazine. It also mentions the game is running on the NAOMI arcade board. This page introduces two characters, Symbol and Pete, from the fighting game Toy Fighter. Symbol is described as a large character with powerful symbol-based attacks, emphasizing projectile and throw strategies. Pete is a grappler character who utilizes an infinity hold system to stop moves. The page details move lists for both characters with commands and properties like Symbol Attack, Hit Float, and One Shot Down for Symbol, and Float, One Shot Down, and Infinity Hold for Pete. The page also explains two game systems. Dirty Attack, which allows players to attack before a round starts, enabling standard punches, throws, and even special bomber attacks, but warns against overuse. The second system, Counter Body Techniques, focuses on throws as counters, highlighting ground and aerial counter throws, with aerial throws awarding 2 points and being easier to execute. Screenshots illustrate gameplay and these systems. The next page is about a 3-hour wrestling game tournament called Dream Maga Sports. It features a results table of matches between characters like Macho Wolf, Kawamura Ryuji, and Dreamcast. Macho Wolf is declared the champion, Kawamura Ryuji is runner-up, and Dreamcast is in third place. The page mentions guest wrestlers struggled, and that Kawamura Ryuji joined the competition midway. There's also a section with comments from Hideki Abo, the developer of Giant Graham, discussing the intensity and individual styles of the wrestlers in the game. Screenshots from wrestling games, likely including Giant Graham, are featured to illustrate the action. This page is about the Dreamcast game Giant Graham 2000, announcing the start of an 8-player final tournament. The tournament was held on October 3rd at Shinjuku Sportsland West entrance and featured wrestlers categorized by fighting styles: comical type, Dreamcast guest; technical type, Sega guest; suplex type, Dreamcast guest; and strike type, Dreamcast guest. The wrestlers featured include Sanjo Sakura, Meru Meruzu, Imo Nishitetsu, Suitsuitaki, Ogura Fumifumi, Kawamura Ryuji, and Macho Wolf. The page includes gameplay screenshots showcasing in-game action and a section with a champion's comment who emphasizes the importance of deliberate and strategic hitting techniques during matches. This page is an article titled Sunnyside SNK, focusing on the card game SNK vs. Capcom, Card Fighters Clash. The article highlights tips and strategies for playing the game, including understanding BP, battle power, how to control the opponent with response battles, and strategies for counterattacks and offense. It explains game mechanics like deck construction from 50 cards, drawing 5 cards at the start, and using cards for attack and defense. The article gives advice on using lower BP cards to respond to opponent attacks and leveraging special points, SP. It also details offensive tactics, such as aiming for counterattacks to inflict significant damage and using a cut the meat to cut the bone strategy of taking damage to set up a powerful next turn. Screenshots illustrate gameplay scenarios and card examples from SNK vs. Capcom, Card Fighters Clash. SNK vs. Capcom Card Fighters Clash, a Neo Geo Pocket Color game, is highlighted as a card battle title. It features characters from both SNK and Capcom, with single, tag, and team modes, and 3 fighting game-inspired playstyles. Players collect SC coins by exploring an Osaka map, with locations like Neo Geo Land, Lost World, Funani Zoo, Joy Joy, SC Park, and Plaza Capcom, each offering card battles and unique interactions. The game aims to be the ultimate fighting game, Olympics. Upcoming Neo Geo Pocket Color releases are listed, including various genres: puzzle, RPG, simulation RPG, pachinko simulation, fighting action, adventure, sports, pachislo, and board games, with releases spanning from November to January. This page showcases a manga strip for the Dreamcast game Evolution, Eternal Dungeon, known internationally simply as Evolution. The manga is a humorous short story featuring characters from the game, primarily focusing on Mag Launcher and Chain Gun. On the left side, character introductions are presented for Gree Launcher, Mag's mentor, Chain Gun, Mag's rival and a girl who secretly likes him, Linear Cannon, Mag's childhood friend with mysterious abilities, and Pepperbox, an information gatherer from the Box family. The manga panels depict a typical interaction between Mag and Chain, where Chain gets frustrated with Mag's fast pace during exploration. She calls him an idiot in jest, but ultimately they reconcile and agree to work together. At the bottom of the page, game information is provided for both Evolution, Eternal Dungeon, which was priced at 5,800 yen and released on January 21st, and its sequel, Evolution 2, Far Off Promise, priced at 6,800 yen and scheduled for release in December 1999. Both adventure RPG titles developed by Sting and published by ESP for the Dreamcast, playable by a single player. This page is the Dreamcastrology section, presenting weekly horoscopes for each star sign, covering October 22nd to 28th. Each zodiac sign includes fortunes for money, love, health, and work, along with advice and a star rating. Lucky colors are highlighted in the advice sections for some signs. Each horoscope has separate interpretations for boys and girls. The featured zodiac signs are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. The page also spotlights this week's lucky person as someone from the game series Tokimeki Memorial, born on October 21st, and a Libra, suggesting they may miss opportunities due to inexperience, but should embrace challenges and refine their abilities. The bottom text explains that this section is for the weekly lucky person and includes contact details. This page is showcasing special presents for readers of Dreamcast Magazine. There are 4 prizes to be won. 20 winners will receive Dreamcast software of their choice. 5 winners will get an Espionagent sticker. 3 winners will receive an H-Factory strap. And another 5 winners can win a tapestry featuring New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tukan Retsuden 4. The page also highlights upcoming year-end sales battle titles. It mentions Sakura Wars 3, Is Paris Burning, as a highly anticipated title. It promotes new titles that are expected to be exciting, and mentions Giga Wing 2. There's also news from Sonic Team, and information about the Nei Oh My League, featuring games that are faster than anyone else, including Dead or Alive 2, Derby Owners Club, Outrigger, and Toy Fighter. Finally, there's a section dedicated to investigating the current status of the Sega Saturn, asking, is Sega Saturn alive? And inquiring about what it's been doing in the year since. The page also contains staff credits for the magazine and publication details, mentioning the next issue will be released on November 12th and will preview upcoming content. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast online horse racing game, Shangri-La Internet de Yume wo Kaneru. It promotes the game's features such as evolving prediction capabilities, using weekly updated programs and data analysis, aiming for a 70% hit rate, and 250% return rate. The game also boasts immediate reflection of the latest data, using JRA data from the past 10 years to provide up-to-date race results for faster information retrieval. A total prize money 1 million yen campaign is highlighted, where customers who purchased during the period from September 15th to October 20th, 1999, and entered a password, could win 10,000 yen for 100 people in a lottery. Additionally, purchasers of Dream Ticket 99 Internet receive a free 14-day password. The advert also mentions network-exclusive member-based horse racing prediction software called Dream Ticket 99 Internet for 2,800 yen plus tax, with a monthly fee of 1,500 yen. Finally, it briefly mentions High Stakes Owners Club for Windows 95 and 98, a member-based network horse owner simulation game, with a Grand Prix event from November 11, 1999 to January 1, 2000. Small side advertisements also appear for PlayStation games, including Kukishoku no Kubu, Pure Color Workshop, and Keiba Saisho no Hosoku 99 Aki Fuyu, Horse Racing's Law of Winning 99 Autumn Winter. This page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast game Rainbow Cotton, a 3D shooting game developed by Success. The advert highlights the game as an exhilarating, non-stop, chaotic 3D shooting experience, where players control the greedy witch Cotton, who is rampaging on Dreamcast. It mentions the 360-degree movement and fast-paced action. The game was released in Japan on December 23, 1999, with a standard price of 5,800 yen. The page showcases screenshots of the gameplay and the game logo.